see how much shit she takes.
I'm going to announce that.
We're here. The left wing is.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Las Vegas City Council meeting. Just a couple of housekeeping issues. Mayor Goodman will not be with us this morning. She is excused. She will be sworn in at the it's May 1st. She will be sworn in as mayor at the May 1st City Council meeting. Mayor Pro Tem Tarkanian is also excused today. She will not be here. Mayor Goodman called me and asked me to run the meeting today. Also, just one other thing, there are only 4 of us up here today, so every agenda item to get passed needs a 4-0 vote, and that's how we'll proceed today. If anyone needs to take a break, because we need 4 people out here at all times, anyone needs to take a break, just let me know and we'll take a quick break. I'll leave that all up to you. So thank you very much. We'll go ahead and proceed with the meeting. These proceedings are being video recorded as well as presented live on KCLV Cable Channel 2 and are closed captioned for our hearing impaired viewers. Please note customers of CenturyLink and Cox Communication can view this program in high definition on channel 1002. You can also watch this meeting live on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire TV on the Go Vegas app. The council meeting, as well as all other KCLV programming, can be viewed on the internet at www.kclv.tv/live. The proceedings will be rebroadcast on KCLV and the web the Wednesday of the meeting at 8 p.m., also on Friday at 4 a.m., Saturday at 7 p.m., Sunday at 7 a.m., and the following Monday at 5 p.m. This building is protected by a state-of-the-art fire detection and suppression sprinkler system. If alarms should activate during today's meeting, please evacuate using the exits at the back of the chambers, out to the mezzanine, proceed out the double doors to the terrace, and down the back staircase. For anyone that has difficulty with stairs, please check with a marshal or fire official for assistance. Once outside, assemble on the northeast corner across the street from City Hall at Lewis and First Street. Employees wearing safety vests or city marshals will inform you when it is safe to re-enter the building. For public comment related to the items on the agenda, citizen participation, and public hearing items, we have available a speaker card which you can complete and submit to the clerk. Cards are available online, in the clerk's office, or at the rear of the chambers. If you do not submit a card, it does not prevent you from speaking under public comment, citizen participation, or specified public hearing items. If there's anyone present today that has a need for hearing impaired equipment, please see the city clerk's staff. If you parked in a parking garage across the street, a new flash parking self-validation machine is located in the foyer between council chambers and the security desk. You walk through to enter these chambers. You must have your ticket with you to use the machine. If you do not have your ticket, see security personnel when exiting for a validation coupon. Before we proceed with the agenda, we'd all ask you to please rise for the invocation given by Rabbi Wynn, Young Israel Ash of Las Vegas, and please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you and good morning. Later this week, on Friday, will be the Jewish holiday of Passover. And we commemorate an event that perhaps has affected the world like none other. It is the very well-known event of how the Jewish people, the children of Israel, were enslaved in Egypt in Nazi work camp-like conditions for over 87 years. And that God came to Moses and instructed, go to Pharaoh, the leader of the Egyptians, and tell him, let my people go. The ensuing 10 plagues, which were not there to punish the Egyptians, but were there to teach the world that God controls every aspect of nature, every aspect of humanity, followed by the splitting of the sea, and then the Jewish people receiving the 10 Commandments at Mount Sinai, which really forms the basis of our morality. All of this was put together so that we could understand that God is God and there are no other powers that can compromise the will of the Almighty. Now, what we do on Passover is we read this book. It's a Haggadah, and it explains over and over all the miracles and kindnesses that God did for the children of Israel. There are many lessons to learn through this part of the Bible, which takes up the first half of the book of Exodus. However, I like to focus on the one point in this book that says that because of all of these things that happened, we are obligated to thank and praise God over and over again. It's the essence of gratitude, that normal people feel good after they have benefited from another, and they feel gratitude for a little bit. But people who are serious about life, people who are great people, they feel gratitude long after the kindness has been bestowed upon them. And when we can focus on the kindness that others have bestowed upon us and the kindnesses that God has bestowed upon us, that inspires us to show leadership almost like Moses, where we can be dedicated to bringing goodness to other people's lives. So please join me as we offer a prayer to the Almighty for this council. And what we're doing here is to bring as much goodness to the people who live in our community, and through understanding that the Almighty is helping us and we are helping each other, feeling grateful for each other, that God willing, He will bless all of us with greatness to bring more goodness to others' lives. Amen. Thank you.
Okay, now we'll proceed with our ceremonials.
Yeah.
All right, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to congratulate Councilman Cedric Creer for his reelection. Congratulations. And we are now going to swear him in for his second term. So, Luann?
Thank you. Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Hold on, and I want to get my
Sure.
family up. I want to get my family up here.
All right.
Come on.
Wait. You're
Oh,
tripping ahead my
all right,
speech.
my bad. I guess we've got to.
Good morning. My name is Luann Holmes, for the record, City Clerk. And today I am very honored to administer the oath of office to the Ward 6 candidate who won, Cedric Creer. Ward 5, I'm sorry. Ward 5. I'd like to ask his wife, Kiba, his daughters, Kennedy and Hagen, and his aunt, Drusilla Hagen, and his brother, Kenneth Creer, to come forward as well. And I'd like to also ask his staff to join us. Special assistants to Council Tanya Jackson-Rinter, Kelly Woods, and Neighborhood Outreach Specialist Harry Williams. No? There they are. So we're very happy to have all of you here today with the councilman. I understand that Kiba will be holding the family Bible at this time, or a Bible. That's okay. So, Councilman,
Yes.
Kiba's going to hold your Bible. I'm going to have you raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States and the Constitution and government of the state of Nevada against all enemies, whether domestic or foreign, and that you will bear true faith, allegiance, and loyalty to the same, any ordinance, resolution, or law of any state notwithstanding, and any further that you are not under any direct or indirect obligation to vote for, appoint, or elect any person to any office, position, or employment in the city government of the City of Las Vegas. And further, that you will faithfully perform the duties of the office on which you are about to enter, so help you God. And further, Your bona fide address is shown herein, and you will immediately notify the City of Las Vegas of any changes of address during your term.
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Another 4 years.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
So we are pleased to present you with your certificate of elections and some beautiful roses. And I know you'd like to say a few words.
I do. Thank you.
Excellent. Yes.
Here we go. Thank you. Thank you all for coming out today. First, let me thank the voters of Ward 5, my neighbors in my neighborhood, of selecting me to serve, to continue to serve as your council person. It is an extremely humbled honor. We've started a lot of good things, and we need to continue on the path going forward. So thank you, guys. Thank you to my colleagues on the City Council. You guys have been wonderful to work with this past year, as well as the mayor and Mayor Pro Temp, who could not be here today. I couldn't do anything for our ward if it wasn't having the support of my colleagues on the council. So thank you guys very, very much. And congratulations to the mayor. She's not here, but congratulations to her on serving on her 3rd term and honorably serving the city of Las Vegas. Let me thank my wonderful wife, Kiba, for all that you do for us and our family. You've heard me say this many times. There is not one thing that I do in my life that if I didn't have the support of my wife, then I could not do what I do. And so thank you, Kiba, for everything that you do. Kennedy, Hagan, Drew, Kenneth, rounds out my immediate family who are here. Drew flew in from Houston last night to be here. Thank you very much. I've known Drew for over 30 years, and she has never missed a time to come out and celebrate with our family. So thank you, and God bless. My daughter Hagan came in from Howard University, Washington, D.C. yesterday for this, which is fantastic. So thank you for making the effort to be here as well. Let me thank my staff and my team, and I wouldn't say a staff, but my team, Tanya, Kelly, and Harry. They take a lot of bullets on my behalf on a day-to-day basis, but they are excellent at what they do, and I think they are a great representation of the ward. And if you've called to our office, if you've been to any of our events, if you've seen things, then my team is out front, and they are really a great team that really puts the ward in front of everything else. Our goal is not to receive accolades and not to get personally rich off of this endeavor that we're on. It is to see the work that needs to happen in our ward. Many of you heard me say about the challenges of our ward, and we are addressing those challenges head on. And so for us to continue to do that, it is not easy. It is not something that we shy away from, though. And we look forward to serving for the next 4-year terms. Thank you to all my friends that have shown up today. Thank you to my fraternity brothers, Ice Cold brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha, who are here today with us. Thank you very much. You say 1119? Thank you. Thank you, guys. It is a pleasure. My old friends from college, Wes is here. My friend who is here, who has known me the longest out of anybody here in this building. We have been friends for over 45 years. And it is just great to see him be here today to bring this in with us. That's my good friend, Perry Rogers, and thank you, Perry, for being here. My old friend. We are blessed to be able to call people old friends. And it's good to have old friends here with us today. Go Gales, that's right. Bob Coffin says go Gales. So thank you guys very much. It is a beautiful day. It is a day to celebrate. We have a lot of work to do, so let's go to work. Thank you.
I just want to add congratulations. This is my Greek buddy here. We love Greek food together.
Yeah, and other libations of Greek origin.
And, Cedric served with honor on the Board of Regents, and he's serving with honor on the City of Las Vegas. And I know Ward 5 and the city is in great hands.
Thank you.
And congratulations, and congratulations to your family. And this is why you do such a great job, because you have such a support. So thank you very much. All right, let's take a picture.
take when he's up there? I was wondering if you'd wait for the decisive moment.
Wait for people to see. And Cedric and I both were able to work with Jim Rogers, Perry's dad. That was an honor working with him as a chancellor. So absolutely, it was an honor. It was a roller coaster. Good seeing you.
So before we get started, I just want to congratulate our fabulous Golden Knights from last night's victory. Right? And now I'll give it back to the standing mayor.
All right, thank you. Our first ceremonial today, I want to invite our planning director, Robert Summerfield. Where's Robert? Come on up here. There he is. Give him a nice round of applause. He's a great planner. Our employees strive to meet our values of being kind, committed, and smart, and they work to build our community to make life better. I am proud to announce that the Employee of the Month for the month of April is Nick Gonzalez. Nick, come on down here. Where's Nick? There he is. Employee of the Month for the City of Las Vegas. Nick is a code enforcement officer in our planning department. He joined the City of Las Vegas in 2016 and became a code enforcement officer a year later. On October 15, 2018, Nick was inspecting a vacant building in Ward 3 in the downtown area when he came across an incapacitated individual in that building. Nick immediately called the city marshals to get medical attention for this individual. Medics arrived and were able to save the person's life thanks to Nick's quick reaction. It was very fortunate that Nick was in that building on that particular day conducting an investigation. Our code enforcement officers have a tough job. They're out there in the community and are sometimes placed in dangerous situations as they inspect vacant properties. They also are ambassadors to our community as they work to ensure that properties are up to code and are safe. Our officers count on the community to be additional eyes and ears out there and report when they come across unsafe conditions. I know Nick and his fellow officers appreciate all the assistance that they receive. Nick, thank you for what you do for the City of Las Vegas, and I'm proud to name you the Employee of the Month for April 2019. I'd like to give Robert the opportunity to say a couple words about Nick.
Thank you, Councilman. So, as mentioned in the write-up, our code enforcement officers do a tremendous job for our community. It's that diligence, that going out there, making sure that our community is safe, particularly our built environment. And Nick has become a great example of that. Making sure that it's not just a pass by, that you're out of the car, you're taking a look, and kind, committed, and smart. You see someone down, and unfortunately in our community, we see people all the time, and sometimes we just walk past. Nick didn't walk past, and he saved a life, and that is tremendous, and that is exemplary and an example of not just Nick, but our whole code enforcement unit, our whole culture here at the City of Las Vegas. So Nick, thank you. Thank you for being an example to everyone, and thank you for what you do every day. So thank you.
Good job. And Nick, you get a really cool thing to put on your desk. Employee of the Month, Nick Gonzalez, April 2019. And I believe your picture will be up on a digital frame outside in front of City Hall. So congratulations, good job, and why don't you say a couple things?
You got it. Good morning, everyone. It is with great honor and privilege to be able to stand before all of you today and receive this award and recognition. However, I could not have done this alone. First and most importantly, I thank God for blessing me with a career and position where I am able to make a difference in my community. Thank you to my Director of Planning, Robert, my Section Manager, Vicki, my supervisors, Eric McCoy, Beth, and my team. Some of which are here today and continuing to show their support for me. I work alongside a very talented and highly knowledgeable group of code enforcement officers, and every one of them at one point has taken their time to help me, teach me, and ensure that I understand my job. You're all very much appreciated, and without all of you, my success would be non-existent. Thank you to my parents, Helen, Jerry, my brother Alec, and the rest of my family for their continued support and encouragement to grow and advance myself. Last and certainly not least, thank you to the City of Las Vegas, all of you, my community. Without all of you, there would be no need for my position. My career with the City of Las Vegas is only 3 years old, and for myself, that's the most exciting part and motivating, because I have so much time left to leave my mark, continue to make a difference in the city that I love so much and call my home. Thank you.
Very nice. Nick Gonzalez, Employee of the Month, right here. And possibly Employee of the Year, you never know.
Yes, they are.
Come on up for the picture. Family.
Yeah, anybody wants to come up and get in this picture, come on up. Vicky, come on. We've got plenty of room. All right, and our final ceremonial this morning, it is my honor to recognize the Las Vegas Department of Public Safety Explorers and the Boulder City Explorer Post, who competed and placed in 4 events at the Chandler, Arizona Police Department Explorer Competition. This time I'd like to invite Deputy Marshal George Cooper, the lead Explorer advisor for the program, to come down here. Deputy Marshal George Cooper, come on down. The Explorer program offers individuals 14 to 20 years of age an opportunity to learn about a career in law enforcement. Each Explorer went through a 6-week mini police academy. After graduating the academy, Explorers have the ability to assist police officers in various tasks, attend Explorer competitions, and participate in ride-alongs. They also work community events representing their respective cities. Additionally, Explorers act as role players at the Southern Desert Regional Police Academy at an annual emergency management exercises put on by their city. In January, the Department of Public Safety Explorers Post partnered with the Boulder City Explorer Post and participated in the Chandler Police Department Tactical Competition for Explorers in Chandler, Arizona. The 3-day event included competition in hostage negotiations, building searches, and pistol shooting. Our Explorers trained for 3 months to prepare for this competition. It is tactically based competition that is physically and mentally demanding. They competed with over 60 teams representing departments across the nation and took home 2 first-place trophies, 1 third-place trophy, and 1 fourth-place trophy. Their first-place trophies were in door breach and downed officer rescue. Their third-place trophy was in a tubular assault, which the team was tasked with overtaking a hijacked school bus with hostages. And the fourth-place trophy was in tactical emergency support. They were in an active shooter event, assessing and treating the injured in a warm zone and tactically moving multiple victims to a safe zone. Today it is my honor to recognize the combined team from the Las Vegas Department of Public Safety and the Boulder City Explorers who competed in the Chandler Tactical Competition and won these trophies. When I mention your name, Explorers, would you please come down here? We're going to recognize you, and we have a certificate back here, if you could help me hand those out, with your names on them. So from the Department of Public Safety, Explorers are Michael Galvez. Michael, come on down here. Is Michael here? Christian Lopez, come on down. Carla Garcia. Francis Bagayan, Robert Adams, and Yahira Hernandez. From the Boulder City Explorers, we have Nick O'Brien, Nick, Justin Ballardini, Anel Sharma, Dominique Tamea, Paige Rowdy, and Emily Mays. Is that everybody? That's everyone? Oh, okay. All right, okay, I guess they all couldn't make it, but we recognize them and they can watch us on TV. First, I would like to have Chief Freeman, who is very proud of these explorers, come down and say a couple of words, and I'm going to have Deputy Marshal George Cooper talk about the competition.
So thank you, Councilman Anthony, and congratulations again, Councilman Creer, for being in the seated position for us, taking us forward. So I'm just super proud to be here. Without these guys, these explorers, they're all over, our community would be totally different. Like we said earlier today, we heard the invocation by Rabbi talking about gratitude, talking about kindness, and that's what we're here for, and that's what these guys do. The exemplary leadership that our advisors give, Nicole's in the audience, along with George sitting here, and Marshall Compson as well, came as an explorer. You know, this leadership is beyond reproach. These people give a lot of their voluntary time in addition to their time while on duty. And I couldn't even tell you how many countless hours that they put in and hard work that they do, and allow our explorers to have an opportunity of a lifetime, really. I mean, do you guys not get to have a view into something that you never would have had if you weren't an explorer, right, you guys? I mean, just they could be standing by my side today, policing the community, because their heart and their conditioning and their fortitude. So just wanted to say thank you so much. Thank you for leading this amazing team. Thank you, Councilman, for recognizing, and Council for recognizing these guys. We couldn't do without you, and I'm so proud because there's not another group that would be able to match you. So congratulations, you guys.
Thank you, Chief. That was wonderful. Before I even start, I just wanted to call up a few more people in the audience. Nicole Chadwick, come up. And Robert Aquino, want to come up? These are two of my really good advisors that work with us as a team. It starts with them. They put so much time and dedication into this post to make it what it is. They're all excellent scholars. They maintain a GPA grade average before they can even do any of this stuff. They volunteer for the city, and one of the payoffs that they get is to go to these competitions. The Chandler competition is probably the most challenging competition in the nation right now. There was 63 other police departments across the nation that went to compete in this competition. Many posts didn't even get a trophy. These kids were so motivated and dedicated. I should say young adults were motivated and dedicated to the point where they trained 2 or more times a week with all of our officers for the department. The SRT team came in and trained these kids on their tactical movements and breaches. And not only they make each other proud, but they made the entire department and city proud. They really just shined in every event, not to mention the ones that they did, place in. So I couldn't be more proud of their achievements and what they have accomplished so far, and they're just going to have a brilliant future ahead of them. Thank you.
I mean, first place in downed officer rescue. That's who I want watching my back. So congratulations. These are the future leaders in law enforcement in Southern Nevada and Las Vegas. So congratulations on your competition. You're displaying those trophies proudly. And let's get a picture.
Thank you, sir.
Get in the picture. Yes, ma'am.
I can't tell you no. Yeah, let's split them up. I'll get a picture of you. I'll just share. Get in close. Squeeze in, everybody. Angle on. Angle on.
All right, congratulations. Thanks for coming down. That's the end of our ceremonials. We'll start the city council meeting in about 5 minutes. Okay, let's go ahead and continue on with our city council meeting. Agenda item number 8, public comment during this portion of the agenda. This must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. The amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. All comments made will be cross-referenced to those specific items. If anyone submitted a speaker card or who wishes to speak under this portion of the agenda, please come to the podium, state your name for the record. This is your opportunity to address the council, but the council is not able to engage in a dialogue. Guess we'll set the comments at 1 minute. So I have a card from Jessica Velasquez and Dr. Pamela Maher. So either one of, this is item number 40 and 38. Why don't you come on up? And anybody who did not submit a card, you can also come up. So come on up one at a time, state your name, and you have about a minute to speak.
Good morning. My name is Jessica Velasquez, Jessica-Velazquez. Dear Councilwoman, thank you so much for allowing me to speak here today. I am here on behalf of the Minority Cannabis Business Association, as well as myself as an individual and as a business owner here in the city. Founded in 2015, the Minority Cannabis Business Association is the first national not-for-profit trade association created to serve the specific needs of regulated cannabis business operators, entrepreneurs, workers, patients, and consumers from the minority communities. Our 15-member board of directors is comprised of a diverse group of cannabis veterans and community leaders from across the country, one of them standing right here before you today. Bill number 2018-61, as it stands today, does not accurately reflect the city's stated policy of supporting small business owners. It does not represent the view of its constituents, and it does not offer opportunities to new business owners currently left out of the city's rapidly growing cannabis industry. Restricting the availability of marijuana social use venue licenses to an already entrenched current dispensary and retail marijuana store owners in the city of Las Vegas would further disenfranchise those minority-owned small businesses that were not able to obtain state operator licenses and compete with the large, heavily financed, and politically well-connected corporations equipped to satisfy the requirements of this highly regulated industry. The city of Las Vegas touts itself as being a haven for small businesses, with 68% of small businesses being formed in the last 12 months. Per its website, the city also states that diversity may be the city's greatest asset, a statement which we could not agree more with. As such, the current language in Bill number 2018-61 does not reflect the city's values or advance its stated policy goals or contribute to the growth and success of all of the communities of this great city.
Okay, I think we got your comments. Thank you very much. You're very clear. Next.
You could say we're not going to vote on it today. She might not know that.
Good morning. This is Dr. Pam Marr. I'm at 718 Lacey Lane, Las Vegas. That's in Ward 1. And Councilman Anthony, I really wanted to speak on the abeyance item 38. Is there an opportunity to speak then, or do I have to speak now? It says discussion. Maybe I was confused.
30. Yeah, if you want to make your comments during that period, that's fine.
I can
You can do
submit
it now, or you can wait till 38.
Well, I'd rather submit it when the item comes up.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thanks. Come on down. State your name, and you have 1 minute.
How many minutes?
1 minute. 1 minute, yep.
Beatrice Turner. I'm here for the family promise that they done put it in abeyance again. And, you know, so how long they gonna keep playing with our community like that? No, we don't want it. No, we don't want it in our community. And they keep putting it in abeyance, but I tell you what, I got a busload of people on the way down here. They should be pulling up in the parking lot. So, but guess what? We'll be back next month when it come back up. And I don't care how bad I feel, I will be right back here because we don't want it cared somewhere else.
Okay, thank you. Come on down, sir.
Good morning. My name is Brian Harris. I am the creator of the Black Las Vegas Food Festival and Block Party, so I'm going to be very brief. I just wanted to let you know we have had, this is the third annual. We had over 7,000 people at the second annual. It is in the Historic Arts District where the initial First Friday was situated. It's gonna, this year it's gonna go 2 days, the 26th and the 27th. So I'm hoping that the city will help us grow this into a national destination event that will be rivaled everywhere, especially in the Midwest. So again, it's October 26th and 27th. It is the Black Las Vegas Food Festival, celebrating Black culture with everyone. Thank you.
What's the hours and where do people go?
It's 203 East Colorado Street in front of Raw Remedies. It starts at 11 o'clock. It goes to 11 o'clock that evening. We have music, we have food, we have vendors. I think you'll find it's a event that will be a positive for the city, and we hope that we can get the support from the city.
Okay, great. Thank you for letting us know about it.
All right.
I have a question, if I could. Sir, step back up. Just one thing. If you have a friend who can write down a phone number.
Excuse me?
Our phone number for the office of Ward 3, which includes the Arts District, I want you to call there. We are everywhere. You got a friend back there who could write this down.
Okay.
It's 229-4623. That's Susan's phone number, Ward 3 office. We'll be delighted to work with you. We did not know that you were coming. Thank you.
Great. And I left one of these for your office, too.
Thank you. Next, please.
I'd like to say good morning to all the city councilmen. I'd like to say congratulations to Cedric Creer.
Sir, go and state your name.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Henry Thorns, 2151 Centuries, Las Vegas, Nevada. Like I said, I'd like to say good morning to the councilman. Congratulations, Councilman Cedric Creer, for a good run. You know, I got in that race, I lost. I hold my head up high, and I hold my head up to Cedric. You know, I believe you're going to be a good leader for our community. I didn't get in this race just because to run against you. I got in this race because I wanted to see a change in our community, and I believe with you and with our help, I think we can get it done. But also at the same time, I hope when we get these projects done in our community, that our peoples are still in our community. Don't railroad us out of our community and rebuild it. But if you have a chance, please rebuild it with the people that live here in Vegas, with the union 872 and all the rest of the unions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Mr. Former Fire Chief Washington.
Good morning, Council. Dave Washington, 1101 Ross, and I just stand today to congratulate those who won their re-election, Councilman Creer, Mayor Goodman. And as a backdrop, I'd like to say to each of you guys who are serving, continue the great work that you're doing. We appreciate it. You know I go back with you a long time. Councilman Kaufman, I've been knowing you forever. Councilwoman, I'm getting to know you, and I appreciate the opportunity to work with you. I will echo the sentiments of Mr. Thorns in regards to our community. Certainly, we want to see it continue to grow, and we know under Councilman Creer that will occur. But also, I'd like to say something about missing today, not here today, is Councilwoman Tarkanian. This woman has been such an inspiration to me, and I want to thank her for her service over the years, because through her, I've been working on becoming a substitute school teacher. And she told me, Dave Washington, don't work all over this community, find you a school or two, because you want to impact, obviously, some boys in particular, black boys in particular, but boys in general. And to you, Councilman Kaufman, I know the work that you've done over the years, not only from here in the City Council, but also as a state legislator. And finally, to Mayor Carolyn Goodman. I love this woman. We are praying for her because a lot of folks don't know the work that she does behind the scenes. I know a number of things that she's done in the black community for people who are hurting, who are in need. So Carolyn Goodman, Mayor, Your Honor, we're praying for you. And to you, Scott Adams, while you're sitting over there cleaning your dirty glasses, continue the great work that you're doing, because I worked for this city for 33 years and 6 years as fire chief. And I was on his selection committee, and I know that his whole team, they have this city's best interests at heart. So I just ask that people take a look at what they're doing and what this entire community is doing. We can grow together. And I appreciate, again, you, Councilman, because I know the work that we did as police and fire. You know, sometimes we have these challenges amongst us, but the bottom line is we take care of our people. So to all of you, continue to serve as you do, the great city that we have, and to the current city workers, keep doing a great job. Thank you.
Mr. Washington.
Thank you, Chief.
Mr. Washington, Chief Washington. Didn't
Dave,
your
yes,
wife,
Council.
isn't your wife Assemblywoman Washington now?
Why would you put that up here? Yes.
Well, I want to congratulate her as well. Like, congratulations to your wife.
Oh, well, I thank you, and I'll share that with her, for
Okay.
sure. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, come on down, state your name.
Shondell Newsom for the record. I'm the chairman of the board of directors for the Urban Chamber of Commerce, and I also own a business called Some New Marketing, which in 2015 won the Family-Owned Business of the Year. Me, my daughter, my wife, and my niece are owners of that firm. And the reason why I give you that is because the Urban Chamber of Commerce, first of all, congratulations to Councilman Creer. One of the things that he had the pleasure of doing recently is coming to a next level class where we have 28 small businesses going through a 15-week course, learning how to be entrepreneurs. And as you know, Councilman Anthony, I've been on this small business journey and for a very, very long time. And one of the things that I think is very important is that everybody understands that the Urban Chamber is there to develop small businesses, working in conjunction with the SBA, the SBDC, SCORE. It's one of the best, I wouldn't say kept secrets, but it's one of the best organizations for small businesses to learn how to develop into successful entrepreneurs. And Councilman Coffin, look forward to getting back on the greens with you. I know how it is, but I just want to say congratulations and thank you, City, for always supporting our small businesses. The Urban Chamber is there to support, and if you want any, that's why I missed the swearing in. I was teaching a marketing course for small businesses this morning at 7:30 a.m. So I just appreciate if you guys would continue to send small businesses our way. And thank you to Bill Arndt. Oh, there. Is he around there? I saw him. Oh, he's way back there. Because we're working on a project right now in the redevelopment areas where we're bringing jobs. That's what Councilman Creer promised, and we said we're going to support him and help him. So we're bringing a lot of our major contractors to do a construction career showcase coming up on May 17th. I believe it is. I'll give the exact date and make sure you guys get all of the information. But it's very important that we remember that small businesses create jobs, and that's what we're here for. Thank you.
No, appreciate your positive comments to kick off our meeting today. Anyone else from the public, come on down and state your name.
Good morning, Council. I'm Virginia Valentine with the Nevada Resort Association. I'm here to speak on item 40.
A little louder, Virginia.
Thank you.
There.
I'm here to speak on item 40. I don't know if this is the appropriate time or if we should wait until we get to the item.
You can do it now, or I'll let you do it when we bring the item up. It's up to you.
Okay, just real quickly, item 40 is the item that would amend Title VI and Title 19 to adopt provisions to allow social clubs. As you know, members of the Resort Association expressed their concerns previously about the proximity of marijuana uses and gaming, primarily because of it is still federally illegal. Okay, my colleague here would like to save it until we get to item 40. Thank you.
That's fine. Huh?
Your Honor.
Oh, it is?
Mayor.
Well,
I'm going to move to obey the item. It's not on any list. Oh, yeah, it is on that list. You're going to, don't have to stick around. I think that's it. When we get to that list.
well, I haven't decided if I want to obey it or not.
Just so she knows you don't have to stick around.
Obey it till when?
May 1, but we'll do it when it's time. There's that.
Next item is the item to obey it, so if you want
Well, I don't know if I want to obey it. I don't know if I want to obey it. Maybe.
You haven't done the votes.
Well, you know what? Okay.
Your Honor, thank you for
I have not
recognizing me.
decided how I'm going to vote on that, so
Okay.
let's just wait and hear that as item number 40.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay? So let's go ahead and make your comments So we'll just pull that. That was on the list to get obeyed, but I haven't decided how I'm going to vote on that. So I'm just going to wait till we get to item number 40, and then we will have you make your comments there. All right? So anybody else from public comment? Okay, that's the end of public comments. So for possible action, item number 9, any items from the 9 a.m. session that the council staff or the applicant wish to be stricken, table, withdrawn, or held in abeyance to a future meeting may be brought forward and acted upon. Councilman Coffin, but please remove item number 40.
All right, thank you for the recognition, Your Honor. On the list of things which need to be obeyed, we have item number 11, which is a reconsideration to be obeyed till May 1. That has to do with the agreement between the RDA and the La Jolla Development Group on the motel at 1924 Fremont. That will be on the list, as well as number 35, which is the short-term rental license at 8816 Tierra Hope Court. And the item on the agenda, number 35, is an appeal of a director's decision to revoke that STR license. We're moving to obey that to May 15th. And then item number 40, Bill 2018-61, which needs a lot of work, but we are meeting constantly, as we did with Ms. Valentine yesterday. It will be obeyed to May 1, 2019, if the motion passes. That is my motion.
Okay, I'm going to vote no on the motion because I want to hear item number 40 separately. So if that's your motion, then everyone can go ahead and vote.
Well, you know what, let's take a look at this from a second practical point of view, as our council is waving at you. We have to have 4 votes to pass or kill anything, as I understand. So really, if we're loggerheads on this, since we should just perhaps hold on this until we discuss it maybe. So if you want to bring it up.
You're going to hold 40?
Hold on a second, let's see what the council
Why don't you
has
make a motion on the first 2 and hold 40? And then we can get those 2 out
I'd
of
like
the
to
way.
ask the council for an opinion, if I could, to help us out on this. What is the consequence of voting up or down on any one of these issues today?
Jeff Dorkirk, Deputy City Attorney. As indicated by Councilman Anthony at the beginning of the meeting, because we only have 4 members, we will need a unanimous 4-0 decision to take any action on any item. On this particular item, he had requested pulling the bill from the abeyance list so we could at least get to the item. I would recommend probably doing that so we can get this business item, agenda item number 9, the consent items, through.
Well, I would split the motion, except it seems like it could be just an exercise in vanity if, in fact, we are going to hold something that's going to die. And I'm not sure the councilman intends to deprive the other 3 members of the council of a vote on this issue. So I will be happy, though, if you do, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, today. If you want me to split the motion, I will. So let's revise that motion to now include the abeyances as previously stated on items 11 and 35.
Okay, that's the motion. Go ahead and vote.
Oh, we don't have the...
It's just spinning.
It's on the wrong computer, that might be. It's over here on the left, the usual public kind of thing. It's not on the right.
You want to do a voice vote just to get this on? Okay, all those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Just for clarity, we are voting to obey items 11 and 35 only?
Yeah.
Thank you. Aye.
Aye, okay. Any nays? All right, motion carries unanimously. We'll now go to the consent agenda, items number 10 through 33, with the exceptions of 11 and 9. Is that right? No. Just 11. On the consent agenda are considered to be routine or recommended for approval by the departments and may be enacted in one motion. Any other items want to be pulled by the City Council on the consent agenda? Okay, do I have a motion, Councilman Coffin?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I move for approval of the agenda.
Okay, motion to approve the consent agenda. Go ahead and vote.
Oh, okay.
All right.
The screen's decided to switch duty.
Everybody else up?
No.
All right.
You'll have to do a voice vote on this one as well, I'm sorry.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. All those against? Motion carries unanimously. All right. Item number 34, report by Dale Keller and Jeff LaRue, Nevada Department of Transportation, regarding NDOT's expansion of the HOV and the new active traffic management systems coming online May of 2019, which will improve operations and safety of our freeways. Mr. Jansen, how are you?
Good morning, Chairman Anthony, members of City Council. There's excitement in the air. As many of you know, Project Neon is nearing completion. Substantial completion is projected for next month. And with that substantial completion coming, there are a number of changes that will be evident to motorists on the freeways very, very soon related to the HOV system and this new device known as an active traffic management system. And so, as you noted, Chairman Anthony, we have two representatives here from NDOT today. We have Dale Keller and Jeff LaRue, and I'm going to pass the baton to them to give you a presentation on these two items. Thank you.
Morning. Go ahead and state your name, please.
Good morning, Council.
For the record, Dale Keller with Nevada. Sure, there you go. You're good.
Are we good? Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to come speak with you today. Big changes are coming, as Mike said, mid-May with the completion of the Project Neon that will affect all residents in Las Vegas community, all the way south from Inspirada, all the way up to Centennial Hills or even Summerlin Parkway. And plus the millions who work and live and play on the Las Vegas Strip in downtown Las Vegas. So this past week, kicked off the department's aggressive educational campaign on the upgrades to the high occupancy vehicle or HOV lanes throughout the Las Vegas Valley. So NDOT is not doing this alone. We partnered with the Department of Motor Vehicles as well as Department of Public Safety. Also today with me is Lieutenant Chris Dreyer with NHP. He can help answer any questions about enforcing these new laws. So over the last 20 years, NDOT has developed this HOV study that started in 2007 with the opening of the HOV lanes on US 95 from MLK all the way up through the Rainbow Curve. And since that time, we upgraded this plan twice in 2015 and last year as well. And really, this plan reflects stakeholder involvement, public entities involvement, and really the look and feel from a public standpoint to get where we are today. So as we talk about the HOV system, and as Mike said, with the completion of Project Neon, we're creating 22 continuous miles of HOV network. You'll see here on the top of the screen, this far reaches from US 95 and Ann Road, all the way down US 95, through I-15 down to Silverado Ranch and I-15. With the completion of Project Neon, we are converting those express lanes that we have currently in I-15 to one general purpose lane, then one HOV or carpool lane throughout this whole system. Also, you'll see on the screen, there'll be two new HOV interchanges, one in downtown Las Vegas with the Neon Gateway, and then later in June, we'll have a second HOV interchange up there in Centennial Hills area, connecting that park and ride to the HOV system via Elkhorn Road. The last thing I want to point out on this graphic, we are changing the concept of this. This is called a limited access facility. So you'll see here on these orange and yellow stripes that these are only the areas you can ingress and egress, get in and get out of the system. What this helps is encourages longer trips in our network and reduces any of that weaving that we see currently on the current HOV system. And one thing to point out too, why the express lane's been very successful is that limited access through that area. So what are the rules? The big one, so this is a 2+ system that's going to operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And why has that changed, or what is our thoughts behind this? There are three main reasons. The first one is trip demands around the clock. With Las Vegas, we have all these special events, and our shift change around the resort corridor happens outside our normal peak time periods. Second is consistent enforcement, working with our partners with NHP. There's no confusion when you can be in it, when you can be not in these HOV lanes. And lastly is consistent with neighboring states. Our HOV systems in Los Angeles as well as San Diego are 24-hour operations, as well as Salt Lake City on I-15. Let me go back here. A few other rules to point out, some yeses and nos. So this is definitely 2+ persons. Babies do count. RTC buses with or without passengers are also allowed in the HOV lanes. And lastly, emergency vehicles are also allowed in the HOV system. Some of the no's, even though you love your pets, leave your dogs. If it's just yourself and your dog, you are not allowed in the HOV lane. And also trucks, even regardless of number of passengers in that truck, you're not allowed in that HOV lane. Some of the benefits are twofold. First, for the user-wise, if you're using the HOV system, it really saves time, it saves money, you got trip reliability to get through your destinations and not having to deal with the general purpose lanes. Also, for everyone else who doesn't use the system and for the department, and managing our system is a great way to manage congestion. HOV lanes serve more people than a single person occupant. Also, it's a better use of our infrastructure, provides choices for transit, and lastly, it improves air quality. And what I'd like to end this presentation is this active traffic management system, or ATMs. What is an ATM? These are more real-time dynamic changing signs that are spaced roughly every half mile. There are going to be 42 of them along the resort corridor that provides real-time response to incidents on the roadways, such as construction or accidents. As you can see here displayed, one of the great things is you can dynamically change the speed limits. So as you start approaching the incidents, instead of going from 75 miles an hour to a complete stop, this will alert you as you continue to slow, reducing those secondary accidents. And one key feature that we also see is, you see on the left there, is with those HOV lanes. We can convert those HOV lanes and open it up to all. So help push that traffic through an incident on the roadway, or even if there's a long-term construction, we convert that to a general purpose lane. So those are the few benefits of the ATM system as well, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you for your time.
Is anybody else going to make a presentation, or just?
If you'd like to have any answers from NHP about enforcement, we can answer those questions.
Okay. All right, I'd like to make a couple of comments. First of all, I want to congratulate NDOT and the NEON project, and you guys did a great job putting that together and coming up, actually finishing early, right?
Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
That is absolutely awesome. It's going to be great for this valley. I'll tell you though, I mean, I've harped on this in the past. I think these HOA lanes are a complete waste. Every morning when I travel from the northwest to downtown and back to northwest, Summerlin Parkway, 95, bumper-to-bumper traffic, the HOV lanes are almost empty. I mean, there's nobody on them. And the people that are on there, I would put the over-under at 80% are just single drivers, because you got to, I guess you have to, I mean, I talk to people that live up in the northwest and the western part of the valley, and basically they weigh the risk of being caught with the reward of getting someplace faster. And I mean, NHP and Metro don't have the time to enforce HOV travel rules. I mean, they have accidents and speeding, and they do the best they can, but they can't. They don't have the manpower to do it, so people just take the risk of maybe getting caught, maybe not getting caught, and they're on that HOV lane all the time. And if it was up to me, we would not have HOV lanes. We would open those up, let people travel on them. People have paid taxes for those roads. They've paid taxes for those flyovers. Those are massive flyovers that should be open to the general public to get where they want to go. And I just don't think it's fair that what we're really trying to do is we're trying to engineer people's driving habits, and I don't think that's going to happen here. I think people like to get in their car by themselves and drive on the freeway. And it bugs me to see those lanes empty when there's bumper-to-bumper traffic, and people just decide they're going to drive on it because they don't really think they can get caught. So I mean, there was a great editorial in the Las Vegas Review-Journal a couple of days ago, and they cited a couple of studies that they found the study said HOV lanes actually cause more congestion in the other lanes because that lane isn't open for the regular traffic. So I understand what you're trying to do, but if it was up to me, I would eliminate HOV lanes on 95 and the Summerlin Parkway. And I've been told we can't do that, but this going to 24/7 really irks me even more because that lane should be open during the day for people to travel on it. So what I really want to do is I just want to answer a couple of questions, and I'm going to ask our legal and I'm going to ask our city manager. I'd like an agenda item in 30 days, and I want you to research and articulate who has the authority to put these HOV lanes in the first place, and do we have any authority as a city council, not just me, I can't make that decision, but as a city council, do we have any authority over HOV lanes? Is there anything that we can and cannot do when it comes to HOV lanes? And I'd like to hear what that is. I'm not going to do it today, but you know, I'm not trying to step on your toes or anything, but I talk to people up in the Northwest all the time, and they're ticked off that they can't use these lanes, that they're stuck in traffic, and they don't want to violate the law. And then I hear people say, well, I'm driving them anyway because NHP just doesn't have enough people to stop me. And I see people on there all the time. So can we do that?
Yep, sounds like
2
direction
meetings?
for an agenda item. I mean,
Yeah.
the gentleman might know some of the answers, give us a head start on the research, but if you don't want to hear it today, that's fine, yeah.
We're not going to do that today. I don't even want to do that today. I'd like to do the research first and have a public discussion. And actually, you know, Jace, I'd like to have, let's get some public comment on this. Let's reach out and find out what people have to say. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people love HOV lanes and they want them, and if the public comes up with those comments, I'd be glad to hear it and maybe revise my, so let's do that also. So that would be at which meeting, Luann? May 15th. So if you could be available to
Yes,
kind
sir,
of
and I'll be happy
respond
to
to
work
some
with
of
staff to
that.
help out with this report.
I appreciate that very much, thank you. I'm not attacking you all. This is just my personal opinion representing people up in the Northwest. That's what I'm hearing up there.
Yes, sir.
And I want to drive in that lane also when I come into work, but I don't because I'm not going to violate the law. So we have the Honorable NHP here. Do you want to make any comments, sir?
No, I think that the changes that NDOT has made, whether you're for or against the HOV lanes, the changes that we've made or that NDOT has made with regards to the 24/7 and so forth and so on, helps us with enforcement. It's early on. I know that historically, like you said, Metro and ourselves, we don't do a lot of active enforcement because we don't have the people to do it. But there's other reasons too, for at least for NHP. You know, again, the rules are not really clear to anybody. And coming from where you came from, you know that I have to give my troopers specific, this is what you can and can't do, or they don't enforce those laws, right? So we're hoping that it works out. Again, I can only say that we know that some of the traffic accidents that we've seen, at least on the freeways, could have been prevented by a smoother flow of traffic. And I think that's the whole thing of HOV lanes. Whether that ends up working or not in certain areas, I get your concerns.
Could you state your name, sir?
Oh, I'm sorry. Chris Stryer with NHP.
Okay. What's your rank?
Lieutenant.
Lieutenant, thank you.
Yeah. So we know that smoother flows of traffic tend to decrease serious accidents and the secondary crashes that we have on our freeways. And we are constantly working with NDOT to try to find ways to do that.
I mean, I feel...
I know your concerns.
Yeah.
Believe me, I know.
I feel for you because I was a captain of
I
the
know you were.
Transportation Safety Bureau at Metro.
Yes,
and
sir.
it was my job, just like yours, to deploy police officers.
Right.
And you deploy them where you have problems.
Correct, sir.
You deploy them in intersections where there's accidents, people getting killed, people getting hurt. I would never deploy them on an HOV enforcement because that's not a problem. It's not hurting anybody. People aren't running red lights. They're not running into people. There's no accidents. So I know you all want to save lives.
Correct.
And prevent accidents, and you're not doing that by enforcing HOV rules. You're not doing that. You're going to go where the accidents are, where people are getting killed. So that's why this is such a weird deal, because we're telling people we're going to give them a $250 ticket, but we're not really going to put anybody out there because that's not how you deploy people. So I appreciate you coming down here.
No problem, sir.
So you guys good on that? I want to have maybe nothing will come of it, but at least we're going to have I just want to know what we can do. If we can, as a body, eliminate HOV lanes, then maybe we'll vote on that. Maybe we can't. So I'll go ahead. I'm done. I'm done harping on
One
that.
point to add on that, too.
But we're
and
not
Councilman-
Yeah, no, I'm going to call on you guys. Yes, sir.
And Councilman Anthony, we've had this discussion in the past, and we can talk through some of that and be happy to work with staff to continue this. Also, part of this, too, is there's federal money tied along with our systems and how we manage our freeway systems, and HOV is part of that. And back in 2007, when we first introduced those HOVs, that was part of our environmental documents as part of how we have come up with a solution. Also working closely with the Sierra Club and back in those early days in 2007 to lead us some of these early decisions as we progress the system. But we're happy to expand on
That'll
this.
be part of the discussion then. All right, great. So I'll open it up. Councilman Coffin?
Thank you very much. Sorry, your name again, sir?
Councilman Dale Keller.
Dale Keller. Okay, Dale. Dale, this is a kick and tickle, because it's kind of like I sort of agree with Councilman on the problem with the HOVs and perhaps being unenforceable as well as possibly being maybe unnecessary at times. On the other hand, I was there in '07 and in '09, and I had briefings before I came on this council, and so I know that the environmental was a big reason for HOV, and that is why you just said it a few seconds ago, environmental in 2007. So congestion creates pollution, we know that. So this was a move to decrease congestion. And I also voted for this based upon the environmental reasons, which include allowing electric and/or hybrid cars, we just had hybrids in '07, to be using these lanes too, because they do not create pollution. So I'll bet you that we can revise this at some time in the future to include electric and/or hybrid vehicles. So that would really help a lot. There's a lot of them, so that would help the congestion on the other lanes. So that's a hope. You don't have to answer unless you're telling me that the federal funds that we have here prohibit that. Tell me that.
No, sir, that's not the case.
Okay, good.
Well, one thing I'd like to add, we will continue to monitor the system as we develop this whole 22-plus miles, and we'll continue to reevaluate this as we go through. One thing to point out, we can't build our way to congestion, but to your point, we'll continue to evaluate the system.
Thank you, Dale. And then also, appreciate the signage. This is one thing we've always been short of. Carson City never had enough brains to design enough signaling. And no, some people might not like the beauty. They might think they're ugly, but that's what saves lives, times, accidents. So do appreciate what you're doing there. That's really necessary. Third thing is Charleston's going to be closed for a week or 10 days, I understand, maybe starting in a day or two. We've got some warning. Will the fuel lines, the 8-inch and the 14-inch lines coming from California, finally be protected as promised during this closure?
Councilman, yes, sir. So we'll install that crash beam as part of this closure.
Okay.
Protecting those lines.
People don't know that's our lifeline for all commerce and tourism. So it is about time. Thanks, Dale. I'm glad to hear that as I leave. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Councilwoman Fiore?
Thank you. So with the federal guidelines, I don't believe that because we get some federal funds for this, that there's actually time restrictions. Am I correct?
So time restrictions are up to the department and to the state and the state board to make those
But
decisions.
it's not, it doesn't hinder the federal funds.
I do not believe so.
Right, it doesn't. So that's something we really have to look at. And with our legal team, because I agree 100% with Councilman Anthony, with the HOV lanes, especially coming all the way from the northwest, because anytime there's congestions, it's never been open. And we understand what times we can use it and what times we can't. So that's like an added plus. And now you're looking at taking the benefit of of, everyone else using the HOV lanes at certain hours and making it 24/7. And I'm in 100% disagreement with that at minimum. So I think we really need to look at the HOV lanes as it pertains to the city of Las Vegas, and especially coming all the way from the northwest area down to downtown, because I really am against the 24/7. I wish we could open it up. I'm okay with a couple hours the way you have it now, but the 24/7 is really, I don't think, good for our city of Las Vegas.
All right, well, thank you for coming down. Appreciate the report, and we'll see you in 30 days, and we'll, yeah, and thanks for serving our community, Lieutenant. Thanks.
Thanks, sir.
All right, thank you very much. All right, item number 35, abeyance item, discussion for possible action regarding an appeal of the director's decision to revoke a short-term residential rental license, Golf Cribs, located in Ward 6, Councilwoman Fiore. That was held in abeyance. I didn't mark that. So that's number 35. All right, so we're going to 36. All right. Let's see. Okay, it looks like we're going to hear items 36 and 37 together, right? Okay. So item number 36, discussion for possible action to approve a temporary medical marijuana dispensary license for a change of ownership from Naturesque to Naturesque doing business as Blackjack Collective. And item number 37, discussion for possible action regarding the approval of a temporary retail marijuana store for a change of ownership from Nexurex to Nexurex 2, doing business as Blackjack Collective at 1736 South Las Vegas Boulevard, Ward 3, Councilman Coffin. Hi, Mary.
Good morning. For the record, Mary McElhone, Deputy Planning Director. So before you today is a temporary change of ownership request for Blackjack Collective, one of our existing marijuana dispensaries and retail establishments. They have been open and operating since June of 2016. The change of ownership today is to remove 3 entities totaling 80% of the ownership and transferring that ownership interest to VSLV Management LLC, whose sole managing member is Andre Block. There is a history with this application. An initial application was originally received in August of 2017, which included Andre Block and another individual requesting the 80% change of ownership. Due to Metro's inability to confirm funding and a problem with FBI fingerprinting not being completed by the applicants, Metro issued an area of concern report in June of 2018. A temporary license, a change of ownership was never approved for this application. After reorganizing and removing the second individual, and after several meetings with business licensing and Metro, a new application was received in January of 2019, with only Andre Block as the owner of this new 80% interest. Metro has reopened the background investigation as the applicant has now been prepared to address the outstanding issues. So that investigation right now for suitability is still being conducted, but it is wrapping up. And in recent conversations just last week with Metro, they believe all the outstanding issues have been resolved without concern. The findings have just not yet been issued. They are requesting a temporary license here today, pending the outcome of the suitability investigation. If you do decide to make that decision to grant the temporary license, we do have additional conditions which are standard to read into the record for marijuana sales. Mr. Block has his attorneys representing him here today, Mr. Mike McNerney and Mr. Bill Karn. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary. Morning. Go ahead and state your name and say what you want to say.
Good morning. I'm Bill Kern with the Ballard Spire Firm. With me is Mike McNerney. There was some history with this, as has been described. That's before Mr. McNerney and I became involved. Since then, I think things have been reconciled, and We're here to answer any questions, but we don't think we need to make an affirmative presentation unless you do. So,
I just want to thank staff's patience.
Go ahead and state your name, sir.
Mike McNerney with Mr. Kern. I just want to thank staff for their patience and all their efforts and time that they've made to work with us to get these issues resolved, and I really appreciate it.
All right, any questions from the council before they turn this over to Councilman Coffin? All right, Councilman Coffin.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I would like to say congratulations to all of you for all the hard work you've done. Mary and Metro, our investigators who are nameless and faceless, we do appreciate the fact that they've worked extra hard on this. It's been something I've been concerned about for a year. And Mr. Kern and Mr. McNerney's client has passed the tests, which are obviously sometimes we're looking for things that don't exist in tense times. And it appears that Mr. Block acquired his money in a proper fashion, and Metro and the FBI have certainly looked and looked, because we want to know when someone overseas is investing. But he is a U.S. citizen, and consequently, we have to give that into consideration. The neighborhood is okay with this. There are no objections that I know of. I live nearby, so I'm not in trouble with this at all. So I move for approval of this with the conditions outlined and a time of 6 months on the temporary issuance in order that we do have that leash out there until we can get the final results. Do you agree to that, members, representatives?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Kern as well agrees. That's my motion. Does that meet satisfactorily with
Yes,
what you think?
Councilman Anthony, if I could read the conditions into the record.
Okay.
So business licensing, we recommend approval of a temporary medical marijuana dispensary and retail marijuana store license with the authority of the director or designee to issue a permanent license upon receipt of a favorable investigative report with the following conditions also. Number one, all cultivation or production facilities used to obtain marijuana must be properly licensed with the City of Las Vegas. Number two, signage approved by the director must be posted to identify that is illegal to consume marijuana in any public location or commercial area. And number three, must operate in compliance with Title 6.95, all policies and regulations of the state regulating authority and of the planning department. Thank you.
And Mary, over here, correct me if I'm wrong, but we want those conditions on both licenses?
That is correct. We do want those on item number 36 and item number 37.
And then therefore, Councilman Coffin will need to do two motions.
That's correct. I'll have to make sure that it is just first item 36, and again the 6-month limit on the temporary license was in the motion. You didn't state that, but I want to make sure that's
Councilman Coffin,
sufficient to get
if you would
investigation.
like, we could do a 6 months temporary to start now. And again, the way this currently reads is that there is a favorable investigative report, we would just issue the permanent license. If there is some issue, we would bring them back before City Council.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay,
All
so
right.
your motion is on 36?
It is now on to approve 36 with all the conditions agreed
All
to.
right, very good, thank you. Go ahead and vote and post. Motion carries unanimously. Item 37.
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to approve item 37 with the conditions as stated and agreed to by the applicant.
Thank you. Go ahead and vote and post. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Okay, item number 38. This is an abeyance item, discussion for possible action regarding the permanent closure of Shetland Road at Alta Drive, $40,000 from the traffic improvement plan in Ward 1, Councilman Tarkanian. So, okay, so I believe we are moving from road closure to something else. Is that correct?
Good morning, Chairman Anthony, members of City Council, Mike Jansen, Public Works. Councilman Anthony, I'd like to provide you all with a little background on this item and walk you through some of the things we've done, working closely with the neighborhood. And yes, we have discussed an alternative that some of the residents seem to prefer a little more over the original request for a gate. I'll begin with just giving you a little bit of background. The request for installation of a security gate across Shetland Road at Alta was brought to Mayor Pro Tem's attention in June of 2018. Some of the residents specifically brought up that there's a concern with increasing crime in the neighborhood, and that was the primary reason why there was a request for a gate closure. When we get those types of requests, as we do with all neighborhoods, we usually want to do a survey to find out what the area residents feel about that request, so that no one is surprised when something like that comes through. So we did that survey. We sent it out to area residents in July of 2018, on July 23rd. The other thing we do whenever we get these types of requests, we do a traffic study to collect the traffic volumes that are on the surrounding streets to understand what those numbers look like. In this case, our Transportation Division collected traffic data on August 22nd. I want to point out sometimes folks want to make sure when we get our data that we get it when school is in session, and that particular year school started on August 13th, and it's important because that's usually the worst traffic volumes that you see when school is in session. So we collected them on August 22nd. The item was heard, and it was denied unanimously at the August 23rd Traffic and Parking Commission. The residents, some of the residents requested that the item be appealed to City Council. It was brought before City Council December 5th, and during some discussion that was had at that meeting, a motion was made to obey the item to March 20th. We worked closely with Mayor Pro Tem's office, and we put on an additional neighborhood meeting on February 28th to discuss the issue further. At that meeting, we also presented an alternative option that would not be a full closure. The item was obeyed at the 3:20 meeting to today. And so just kind of walk you through the history on this item, where we've been and where we are. Just to give you a little background on, see if I get these slides right. Okay. Let's see. It's like a little bit out of order. Just a sec.
That's not us.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. So the vicinity map, I want everyone to know where we're talking about here. This is an area, we're familiar with the Rancho and Alta intersection, and this is the neighborhood that is on the southwest corner of Rancho and Alta. Shetland is a north-south street. It runs parallel between Rancho to the east and Campbell to the west. And so it's a north-south street that connects Alta Drive on the north and Palomino Lane on the south. Okay, go the other way. All right. Let's see. One sec. Okay. So at the council meeting that we had in December, Mayor Goodman requested that we reach out and speak with Metro to find out about some of the crash information, the crime information. And we did just that. We reached out to Bolden Area Command, which represents this area, and we want to point out, as you know, Chairman Anthony, we can only talk about the official crime statistics that have been recorded. A lot of times there's reports of crimes that occurred, but they don't always get reported. So we wanted to ascertain exactly what are the official crime stats for the area, and we got those crime statistics. This is just a map that overlays the crimes that occurred in 2017 and 2018 according to the data that Metro gave us. And when we had some conversations with Metro's Bolden Area Command about this location and the option of a gate, their feedback was they didn't think the gate was going to be beneficial and that it would really reduce response times, that because there's other areas to get in and out of the neighborhood, the crime is still going to find a way to occur. Here's a breakout that I wanted to point out on those official crime statistics. In 2017, in that sector, and we measured the area between Campbell on the west, Alta on the north, Palomino to the south, and Rancho to the east. In 2017, there was officially 11 crimes that were recorded. 8 of them, I want to point out, occurred, as this table shows, occurred on Rancho. And then in 2018, the residents were telling us the truth. There was an increase in crime. The official records of crime for 2018 in the exact same sector was 15 crimes occurred. Also, just wanted to point out that 10 of those 15 crimes that were reported occurred on Rancho or Alta. Point out some of the traffic study information that we secured. If a gate were installed, what would be the impact to the neighborhood streets? And our traffic study found that we had about 800 vehicles per day that used this stretch of Shetland. Traffic data, this is a neighborhood that we've studied a lot over the years. When you go through this area, you'll find there are speed humps that exist today on Palomino, portions of Palomino. There are speed humps that exist today on Pinto Lane. There are speed humps that exist today on Campbell. No speed hump facilities exist on Shetland. And so we've studied this neighborhood a lot over the years. We've worked with this neighborhood very closely on many issues. It's a very stable neighborhood. So our traffic data shows that the numbers haven't really changed a lot over time. There's generally been about 800 vehicles a day that have used that portion of Shetland. A couple other things some of the residents brought up is there some concerns at the intersection of Shetland and Alta. We pulled 3 years of, again, official crash records. Official crash records only showed that we had 2 crashes at that intersection in a 3-year period. Again, a lot of folks hear screeching. Sometimes they hear crashes, but they just don't all get reported. We can only show you what the official record showed. This is an area where the largest traffic generator is Wasden Elementary School, which is located along Palomino, just west of this particular stretch of Shetland. And historically, during those school bell times, the morning bell time, the afternoon bell time, which is always the worst, is when the bulk of these area streets see a lot of the traffic. And during the discussion for this item, some of the concerns that were raised was just at our most recent city council meeting on March 20th, this board approved a new school to go into that neighborhood. The CCSD is going to take down the old Wasden Elementary and build a brand new campus. There were some questions as to whether the school was going to be bigger now and it was going to create more traffic, which would bring this concern of closing Shetland even more into a bigger concern for the area residents. We confirm with the school district that the school that's being built, it's going to accommodate 850 students, which is the same number of students that are in the old school, plus the portable trailers that were added over the years during some of that school expansion. And so there won't necessarily be a new increase in traffic from the new school. We just wanted to make that pointed out because some residents thought that it was going to be higher. The survey. So we sent the survey out in July to 160 area residents. Again, just for the boundaries, we surveyed the residents that were in the area bounded by Alta, Rancho, Campbell, and Charleston. And we had 70 responses that came back by the survey deadline. 50 of those surveys came back in opposition, 20 were in favor. And since the survey was routed, every now and then another survey shows up in the mail. And so we're just reporting to you kind of, it's fair to say that a larger number of area residents were against the gate being installed on Shetland than those who were supportive of it. Just a couple other pieces of information for you to be aware of. We also work closely with the fire department. Anytime you change a street, you close a street with a gate, fire department has a concern on how it might impact their emergency response routes. And so what this map shows you is that there are quite a few primary, secondary routes that service this neighborhood. Shetland Road happens to be a secondary emergency response route. And for that reason, when we brought this item to our fire department, they said that, you know, if there's a gate going in, it's going to affect our response time, and they don't particularly like to have that happening. And so they indicated that if a gate were approved, it would need to be a fully electric and activated gate so that it would minimize, you know, instead of just a regular crash gate where they have to come out and cut a lock. And so to point that out, a fully electric gate is expensive, and according to fire code, it would also require, current fire code would require a turnaround. So we want to just point this out because that is a very costly installation, probably about $125 to $150 2150. I will also mention that the residents who were in support of the gate, they did give an indication to Mayor Pro Tem that they'd be willing to fund those improvements. So just want you to be aware of that aspect. Last item I wanted to bring to your attention is the alternate option that we presented at the February 28th meeting with the residents. We presented an option that has also been used very close by, and I'll explain to you how this option works. Shetland Road would not be gated off, but traffic coming northbound on Shetland, they would still be able to come up to Alta and turn right, but there would be a median that would be installed that would prohibit traffic from going south. So if you're on Alta, instead of being able to turn right to go south on Shetland, you would actually have to go down to Rancho and come around that way. So the median would reduce the amount of traffic that would be diverted in the neighborhood, but it would still maintain the biggest movement. And when we look at our traffic counts, that right turn movement, traffic going north on Shetland that want to go east on Alta, that's actually the biggest movement, and I'll show you a little detail right after this that explains that. But just again, to orientate you to this design, northbound Shetland traffic would come up to Alta. They would have signage that would allow them to turn right. Traffic that would be going west on Alta would not be able to turn left. They would not be able to enter Shetland. Traffic going east on Alta would not be able to turn right on Shetland. It would simply maintain a northbound right turn movement. And I mentioned this is a traffic feature that we have at some other locations. About a mile away from this location on Waldman Avenue at Rancho, we have a similar device. I have a picture here in this slide that just shows how that is. It's not the perfect solution. I will tell you that it affects people that follow the laws properly. They follow it, but folks who decide they want to still come through, they sometimes find a way to drive in the wrong way. But it is an option that we wanted to present because it has been used in other locations. And just to follow up that point I made, why did we identify this option? Well, we really were not really in support of the gate because of the rerouting of the 800 vehicles that it would have. But when we counted the intersection during the peak hours, during that morning school bell time, during the lunchtime period, and during the afternoon school bell time, what you find in this detail is that northbound right turn lane was the highest movement. 47 vehicles during the PM bell time was trying to turn right. And when you look at all the other movements, if we were going to preserve one movement, that's the movement that we were going to recommend. And so I wanted you guys to just see what we've worked with the neighborhood on. And just a quick summary, Metro was not in support of the gate due to response time impacts, and they didn't think it was going to help with the crime problem. Fire and Rescue was not in support of the gate due to response time impacts. I think a majority of area residents, some of which I'm sure you'll hear from today, they were not in support of the gate. A gate would cause 800 vehicles per day approximately that would have to reroute to the three other streets, Palomino, Campbell, and Pinto. And the alternate partial closure that I presented to you and also worked with some of the residents on could be integrated with some speed cushions. Since Shetland is a fire route, speed cushions is an option that fire would support. And more or less, we think that's a more reasonable option for you to consider. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, so that's what you're recommending today is this option two?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions of Mike up here? Okay, sir, go ahead and state your name and who you're representing and
Thank you, Chairman.
make your comments.
Thank you, sir. Chairman Anthony, congratulations, Councilman, on your reelection. It's wonderful. Mayor, we're praying for you. We know you're a fighter, and we're glad you're getting better. Thank you, Mayor and Council. When this started, this is not my idea, this wasn't my idea, but I'm president of the association, so we've worked with everybody to try and figure this out. And I'm pretty sure all of you can appreciate when you have a neighborhood, well, some wants it, some don't, it becomes grueling. So in the beginning, when it was brought, they said we were instructed by the city what it would take to close it would be to get 100% of the neighbors that lived on Shetland. So we went out there, a petition was done by one of the neighbors, they came back, had everybody that signed it, said they'd like to have it closed. So then they said after that we had to have a neighborhood meeting. We always have neighborhood meetings that's run by the vice chairman of the association. Does a wonderful job. It's informative. Many of the neighbors show, some of them don't, but at the end of the day, it's informative on that part. So then, after we had the meeting, as Mr. Jansen said, the mayor and Councilman Copeland at the time, when we were discussing, said, go back and start working with the city of Las Vegas, Metro, and the fire department. So we did that, met with them, and then they came back with the results from that. We had another meeting with some of the neighbors that were really adamant about closing this off, and we took the results and met with them to walk them through it and see this is the problems that could come back, this is what the city of Las Vegas sees, and this is what we think. Basically what you just saw on the proposal, on the demonstration here by Mr. Jansen. And then after that, we found out that there would be, I love that picture. We're not closing off Fremont. See, that's what happens. So after that, we said that there would be a problem with the neighborhood. We're trying to keep the neighborhood intact because we've seen bad zoning that comes in here. We've seen, obviously, the integrity of the neighborhood has always been fighting for years. When I represented it, if you go back to the times, there was people that wanted rolled curbs, and put it in on the neighborhood. People on Palomino fought adamantly, didn't want it. People on Pinto did, and I have results to show you the difference. So based on that, we try to keep the neighborhood intact, respect everybody's wishes. So I'm going to give a big thanks to Mr. Jansen and his entire team for putting this together and working with the city, or working with the neighborhood. The people that wanted the closures were not happy at all with this. But we explained that there's a bigger fight on the horizon to keep the neighborhood intact and the safety of the children that are coming to schools. We met with Marilyn Moran, one of our neighbors, and John Moran, met with the superintendent and people inside the school district about the new school and what it's going to generate, what it's going to look like, and the concerns about what's going to take place on Palomino, since it has not been approved in a long time, and also the to and from. So Mr. Jansen was kind enough the other day to come out and do a one-on-one visual with some of the neighbors and actually discuss what we're talking about. We took that plan back, sold it to the neighbors that are still pushing to have the road closed, and they feel this is something they could live with, and they had only had a couple more things, and that they had, right, as Mr. Jansen said, the right turn only curb on Shetland. The only other thing they had was, many of us have landscaped it. They wanted to vacate from the curb to the property line. That would be maintained as landscape only, could never be built on. And of course, all the easements for utilities would still be intact. And then the only other thing we had, if we could work with Public Works, if this is approved, on, if you look at the one on Waldman, it's just like a big chunk of concrete. We have landscaping on Alta. We'd ask that the landscaping kind of be brought into that and work with the basically keep the intact landscaping. So the visual going down Alta would be kept the same. And then a small sign that designates equestrian estates. So that's pretty much about it for now. If I can answer any questions whatsoever, I have some other things I can rebut, but I don't want to take up too much of your time until you call me back up,
Okay,
Councilman.
so what I'm hearing is that you're withdrawing the road closure for consideration, and you want us to consider and vote on this new traffic alteration at Shetland and Alta, and in hopes of that will reduce crime in the neighborhood. That's basically it, right?
That's
Okay.
That's one of the proposals, sir. That's like I said, they're not happy. The people who want to close aren't happy. The people who don't want to close aren't happy. So we're kind of in the middle, and I think this is something.
Okay, so you're withdrawing your road closure. All right, so let's go ahead. I have some cards up here for public comment. So you all heard that? That's the new proposal being considered by the city council. So I have some cards up here from some folks. Brian Plaster, Jeff Rogan, Laura McSwain, John Rando, Jason Jackson, Dr. Pamela Maher, and anybody else who wants to comment. So come on up and basically just tell us whether you agree or disagree with this new proposal, and we'll take those into consideration when we adjudicate up here. Go ahead and state your name.
Good morning, City Council. My name is Brian Plaster. I'm at 2694 Palomino Lane, just adjacent to the corner of Shetland and Palomino. I've lived there for approximately 10 years. The entrance to my home, when I come back from Alta, I drive down Shetland, and it's a beautiful road. I don't know if you guys have driven down Shetland before, but it's one of our nicest roads in town. It's grass lined on either side of the street by Mr. McDonald's home. And really, I think this traffic closure is a bad idea for our neighborhood. I've been out here every time you guys have had a meeting, and I've been against any sort of modification to the roads in our neighborhood. I agree that this is somewhat of a compromise, but I'm still, fire department doesn't want it, police department doesn't want it, and 50 out of 70 of our neighbors do not want this. So I just wanted to voice that I'm against any sort of modification to any of the roads in our neighborhood at this time.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Madam Mayor Pro
Next.
Tem, I mean, not Sir Mayor Pro Tem. Just to be clear, because I don't like unclarity on the record, the fire is okay with Plan 2, not Plan 1. So when you say the fire's not okay with it, it's not okay that you state an incorrect statement.
Thank you. Coming up, sir.
I want to thank the council for your chance to speak. I'm John Rando. I live on Campbell Drive. Right now, we have a solution in search of a problem. I've lived in the neighborhood 43 years. We've never had a problem. Do we have crime? Yeah, somebody breaks into a car. We have those kind of things. When they had a meeting there, I don't know if there's, were you there for that meeting that night?
My staff.
Your staff was there. We didn't discuss a right turn only during that meeting. Jody Paskey gave a great presentation and showed why the road closure wouldn't work. Since then, I've taken your CERT training, and that would be, doing anything to the road would probably be a detriment. If there's ever a disaster, you can't have a gate there. You need ingress and egress. You want to have this new thing where you can't turn right, you can't go down. All you're going to cause is a problem where there isn't one. If you want to put in speed humps to do that, they semi-work. In December, down Campbell, on Campbell over to Pinto, somebody went going 65 miles an hour, and he crashed the car into the house on the corner of Pinto and Campbell on the northeast side. So all of these ideas are just looking for, there's no problem. Well, if we want to calm traffic, well, that's not going to happen. Right now, the school that you're talking about is going to be down for an entire year. When they open the new school, it will actually have more students. Now, they say will go up to only 850 students. That's going to be increased because also we have a bunch of apartment buildings that are being built, and I'm sure people have children with those apartment buildings, and they will be going to Wasden. So I would urge the council to do nothing. There's no reason. Thank you.
Thanks for coming down. Yes, sir. Go ahead and state your name.
My name's Jason Jackson. I live on Campbell. I have the updated map of the number of residents that are for and against, which ends up being about 83 against. This road closure, or any form of this road closure, was not introduced on the February meeting. I'm sorry, Mike, it wasn't. We did discuss the speed cushions, which I think everybody would be for and have zero issue with. There is zero documentation as you omittance, and the left turn omittance would increase emergency response time. This is an older neighborhood. There's a lot of elderly there. You know, seconds can mean lives. We don't need to make this worse. Parking and Traffic Commission unanimously voted against it. Captain Utomi of the Bolden Area Command, which we are part of, disapproved of this. She didn't like it. Our Lady of Las Vegas, the Salvation Army, which are part of this neighborhood, are against this. Several of the administration and teachers that work at Wasden that I spoke to are against this. They just can't say they're against it because they're work for the school district. Again, Wasden is going to expand. There are apartment buildings that are going to be built, from what I understand, by the Smith Center, in which case they're going to be using Alta and Shetland to get to Wasden, because that's where their children will go. Mayor Goodman herself, at the last council meeting before it got obeyed, said how much a pain in the butt these type of closures are, and she referenced the Walden closure. In conclusion, this neighborhood, this would divide the neighborhood. It's an open neighborhood, and it should remain an open neighborhood. It doesn't need to turn into an us versus them, which I think it is. And I just really really hope that you guys disapprove this because it's not what we need. It's not what the neighborhood wants, and it doesn't serve anybody except a few people and their own special interests.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming down.
Sir, Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
Once again, I have to correct for the record that when you say that these police opposed it, they did oppose the gate. They are not opposing the speed cushions. So for the record, also our mayor's not here, so please don't sway where she would be today.
I'm not swaying, and
I'm saying for the record, the police and fire that you mentioned were against the gate, not the speed cushions. Thank you.
I 100% agree with you.
Thanks.
They're not against the cushions.
Yes, ma'am. Come on up here and state your name.
Yes, Laura McSwain. I live on Ashby. And one of the things that wasn't discussed was the impact of the fact that Our Lady has a school. So we've got school traffic patterns also. I have a problem with any disruption to what normal traffic patterns allow for this area. I live on the other side, but it impacts our entire general area and the flow. I also have concerns about the idea of now introducing landscaping and what the expense of that is going to entail, because there's probably utilities there that have to be relocated and what have you. So just when you talked about fundamental fairness on the HOV, I appreciated those comments, because from a fundamentally fair standpoint, I just don't think that this is the right way to go. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming down. Yes, sir.
Good morning, Jeff Rogan. I also live on Ashby Avenue in McNeil Estates. We have a lot of neighbors that actually have their children go to school at either Wasden or the Catholic school up there as well, and we are concerned about the closure or the modified plan that you have today as well, impacting their ability to get to those schools in a timely fashion. Generally, we do have traffic problems in all of those neighborhoods. I think a better approach is not this piecemeal approach that each individual neighborhood is taking, but working with Mr. Jansen to develop a systematic approach for traffic calming. I oppose this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, I'm Pam Marr. I've been following this. I live on Lacey, and I'm just trying to figure out the agenda behind this. It's just really baffling me, because this at the beginning was like a cul-de-sac where the entirety of Shetland was completely, not even gated, but landscaped and closed off with a circle. So, the one thing that no one has really brought up here is with this is bouncing around where it was the left turn and people robbing houses and then getting onto I-95 to get away. And then just today, only today, I heard safety of children, which has never been brought up before, and speed cushions. So I just wanted to bring up that maybe the people on Shetland wanted to be completely walled off because they didn't want a homeless person to walk into the neighborhood. And I just want that on the record because we have homeless people and they are in the neighborhood, and I just don't think any kind of a gate is going to prevent that. So I feel this is not a good use of public money. If we want to solve problems, we need to get to the root of them. Mayor Goodman's agenda for the city for this year is to solve the homeless problem, and I just want that on the record. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Come on up. State your name.
Good morning. Rick Truesdell, 808 Trotter Circle. I live just off Shetland, have for many years. And yes, we worked with traffic on this project as it's come forward with Gina in traffic office. And we had a meeting at Wasden a month or so ago, and the consensus very much was, even from the applicant's point of view, was, yeah, the closure probably isn't the right solution. And traffic engineer brought up some other solutions that might be workable that they would go back and check. And suddenly we have this here. I left that meeting with the understanding there'd be another meeting to explain that to all of the neighbors for and against, just to better disclose this, try and get more buy-in. That's usually why you have the neighborhood meetings. I respect Mr. McDonald a lot, but a planning solution that is a lose-lose, where both sides lose something, isn't a good planning solution. The effort should be made to come up with a solution that meets the majority's solutions. And I go out, because I have properties up at Meadows Mall, and I come right out Shetland. I typically make a left there, go up Alta, take a right on Valley View to my property. I come back, I come down Alta and make a right on Shetland. That's a natural solution. Having me make a right on Shetland, make a U-turn to try and get west, or do like a lot of the people in the neighborhood have done, is get on either Pinto or Palomino and see how fast they can get up to Campbell. The traffic is not so significant along this area that this change will create more issues. And if you do decide to approve that option, I would recommend you do it in a temporary vein for 6 months, and then have everybody come back and relook at this, rather than spending a bunch of dollars. I know I've worked on road closures and traffic solutions before, and we always look at whoever's asking for it should be paying for it. Here, you got 4 or 5 people on Shetland asking all of us to pay for it. And I don't even know what it is, but we're all going to be paying, the city residents are going to be paying for it. In that regard, it's not a good solution. So I think, I'm not saying that this solution may not be the end result, but it should have come back to the neighborhood in total. I know Mr. McDonald missed the last meeting, but I know the applicant, Eric King, who has been shepherding this, was at that meeting with some people, and his mother-in-law was there, which I was shocked because she made it a point that she was going to abstain from this item. But
Thank you. Thanks
thank
for
you very
coming down.
much.
All right, come on up here, state your name.
Good morning, Chair, City Council people. My name is Kevin Chow, for the record, 4060 Spitz, representing the homeowner on the southeast corner of 2525 Pinto, Mr. Jill Peugeot. He is all for option number 2, but he would like to put on the record that he would love that to be gated. So again, we thank you for your time, and we thank you for your service.
Any other public comment? All right, I'll close public comment. I do want to ask you about Mr. Trudell's comment about putting in the changes and the option that you came up with, and then maybe having some kind of administrative review, let's say a year from now, to see if it's a problem. Is it a big deal to put those things in, and then if it doesn't work, if it wasn't the right thing to do, to take them out? Is that what kind of an issue is that?
Chairman Anthony, that was actually one of the things that we had discussed at the December 5th meeting, of doing a temporary closure. Originally, it was a temporary full closure to show what the effects of the gate would be, but to do a temporary closure that would just modify the Alta Shetland intersection to just allow the right turn as the option 2 would be, that would be very easy for us to implement. We would have basically traffic cones and devices that would put it out there. And so if that was a desire for us to do that as an initial step, we could certainly do that. We've done it before, just so you know. We've had other neighborhoods where we've proposed some type of a median change, and we've done a temporary setup when there's been concerns to do something temporary before permanent.
Sir?
Okay, Mr. McDonald, what's your response to that? I just wanted to...
Chairman, Chief.
Yeah, sir.
sorry.
Madam, sir, this mayor is killing me here. Sir, Mayor Pro Tem, I'm sorry. So as I just listened to Mr. Truesdell, I also, am I correct, Mr. Truesdell, don't you live behind a gate? Isn't your house gated?
It is, and it was the only home available in that neighborhood.
No,
when
I get it.
purchased-
I just.
No,
yeah,
I'd prefer the gates
yeah,
not be there, to tell you the
yeah.
truth.
So I just want to be clear, because originally they wanted gates, we're not doing gates, we're going with option 2. But, and I live behind gates too, and I'm okay with gates. But when you're behind gates and you don't want gates for others, I think that's kind of, I just think about that a lot.
I was talking about option 2, so.
Okay. All right, Mr. McDonald, why don't you wrap this up, and then I'll see if someone wants to make a
Your Honor,
motion up
like
here.
a couple points, sir, please?
Sure.
All right. On a lot of it, so to point out some of the some of the things, that we appreciate everybody, like I said, between Scotch 80s, McNeil Estates, we try to make this, and you're talking a large area, we try to encompass because we're fighting all the same things. But some people that testified here are from the other side of Charleston. They're on the other side, which is, I'm glad they're here, I'm glad they're involved, but for the record, they actually live south of us, south of Charleston. So the other ones are west of Campbell that came and talked, and then we have a couple neighbors that were on Campbell that talked, and obviously Mr. Truesdale is our neighbor, lives in Palomino. So that was something, when we start talking about to pay for it, if you want to start setting a precedent, now we're asking for the same thing everybody else gets. We've seen plenty of closures that took place that the neighbors have put together, and the city paid for it. Just want to show you a visual. If I can go to an overhead, Your Honor, is this showing up? Okay, so this is Palomino looking west, looking east, same. This is Shetland South, looking south. So we'll just look at the visual kind of we're looking at. That is what happens when you improve it. This is Shetland going north. So you see some of the improvements that have gone by different sides. The landscaping was brought up. So improving the neighborhood is a good thing, and that's one of the areas where we have the speed humps that go on to take place. I'll leave it at that. The other part is, when we were talking about it, and again, I applaud the City of Las Vegas. I thank them. I thank the neighbors that have been involved with this for the longest time. This was the ball I was given to run with. Try to do the best we can for everybody. But if it is something that they're going to try and do partial, we would ask that we put the curbs and speed humps in and the vacation, if we could please, start that process and get it moving forward. And then they can do with the right turn lane as that's moving down the park, to have that, if it's going to be if the motion is temporary, we'd ask that we kind of reinverse this. So we do the vacation, the curbs, and the speed cushions, right? Speed cushions, not speed humps. I apologize, right?
If I could just address a couple of those comments, Chairman Anthony. There are really two pieces to this. There is the original request to close the street, which was a gate, and the alternative we proposed was a median restrictor that wouldn't close it, but that would restrict some of the movements there. Typically, the speed humps or speed cushions, they're usually an item that we bring as a separate type of neighborhood treatment. And then the vacation that Mr. McDonald mentioned, there's an official process that the planning department has to go through anytime anyone wants to do a vacation. So while a vacation of that landscaped area could certainly be explored, there's a process that would have to be followed to apply for that vacation, and whether or not that would be approved at a later date, I don't know. But I think we were prepared today, if it was approved, that we could implement the median restrictor, and we could do a second adjustment, our traffic calming element for the speed cushions if the neighborhood was supportive of those.
Okay, so the only thing we can do today is just make those, either make or not make the changes at that particular intersection. Right turn, median, that's all we're talking about today.
Because of the way it was agendized, where
Okay.
the agenda for today was to discuss closure of the Alta and Shetland intersection, we could address that element, but we could certainly come back and work with the neighborhood on bringing the speed cushions / speed humps forward.
Is that correct?
Jeff Dorkak, Deputy City Attorney. Yeah, I spoke with Director Jansen. Our office would advise only dealing with items that affect closure, as Director Jansen stated, so the island would be a partial permanent closure, and that works with the way the item is agendized.
Okay, very good.
One question, Councilman?
Yes, sir.
So this is your plan. This is what you proposed with the speed cushions and that. So is that we're approving today? Sorry, Councilman, through you to the city. I apologize. I forgot, sorry.
As Mr. Jansen mentioned, Public Works has a process for the additional items discussed, the cushions and the landscaping and anything else, and it'll be better and more correct to bring it back as an item on its own.
And just to clarify, this was, I think we were trying to say from a comprehensive standpoint, when we looked at the other streets in the neighborhood, Pinto, Campbell, and Palomino, they have speed humps on them today. And so we were trying to say that to be fair for the entire neighborhood, we would be willing to support having speed cushions. This is because this one's a emergency route. We'd be willing to support that. It's just, it would be sort of a phase two.
Okay, so-
Only because the way the item was agendized was very focused on just the intersection.
So just
We wanted
to be clear, let's put that one slide up that has the intersection. And let's just be real clear on what exactly a motion or not a motion. So yeah, that one right there. So what are you recommending as a possible motion in
A
that slide?
possible motion would be to approve the partial closure of Shetland at Alta that would restrict the northbound traffic to make right turns only, and that would not allow any other movements.
And you can't make a left turn into Shetland.
Yeah, the intersection will be limited to just making a northbound right turn.
Okay, so there you go. So now I'll turn it over to the city council. Councilman Fiore, you had your hand. Oh, Councilman Coughlin, go ahead.
Just ask a couple of questions. First of all, the speed cushions, if people are not familiar with them, are pretty good. We've had them installed on some quiet neighborhood streets in response to either anticipated or excessive speeding traffic, and they're perfect. And we used to ask for speed bumps and always get turned down by fire, and now they are available because our trucks, they're made just so our trucks, ambulances, and fire equipment can straddle them, so it's perfect. So those are good. They're not noisy either, by the way. They're made of rubber, and they've been in my ward now for 3 years, 3 summers, and so far they're holding up well, and they're not pulling out of the asphalt. So that's very important to consider when people are talking about cushions. They're not asphalt, they're not concrete, and they're not abrupt. So that's a good tool to use. Also, I use Alta a lot. And it stuns me how fast people drive on Alta. I noticed our average speed is 37, or we said it was in a traffic study. But I look at that, the city years ago put in a chicane. They made Alta, curvy in order to slow traffic down, I'm sure, because Rancho Circle's on the right and the neighborhood we're talking about is on the left or the south of Alta. And yet people are going really fast, and they just cut those corners. They don't. The chicane painting, it doesn't do any good. It just doesn't. I've seen people just go crazy, 40, 50 miles an hour, uphill and downhill, faster downhill. So toward Shetland from uphill, naturally, they're going faster. So there is some, I think, in my mind, a practical reason for calming the traffic near that intersection and helping people out. So we're hearing arguments on both sides, and so I'm inclined to think that something is needed. And then the question becomes well, how radical and for how long as an experiment? That's something that I'll wait for a motion to determine how to vote on. But I sense that there's something wrong there. And by the way, no matter what we do on this, I think we ought to put up some little bumps, those little traffic dots, whatever you call them, along the stripes that are supposed to calm traffic on Alta. Without a feeling and without a little noise, not much, just a little feeling of your tires hitting those would slow people down considerably, whereas right now great expense was gone to for naught, I think. Thank you.
Councilwoman Fiore.
Thank you, Sir Mayor Pro Tem. I'd like to make a motion. So the motion that I'm making is the partial closure on Shetland and Alta, making a right turn only. But am I allowed to add the speed cushions on that motion?
Councilwoman Fiore, we would advise not to, and we have a process in place through Traffic Commission and Public Works. They'll bring the cushions back at a different item.
So then that's my motion, is to approve the partial closure on Shetland and Alta, making a right turn only.
Okay, we have a motion. Go ahead and vote. And post. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. We're going to take a 10-minute break because there's only 4 of us up here. We will be back in 10 minutes, 11:23.
Thank you.
So the neighborhood didn't have an ambulance? Can we sue you guys?
was on the consent agenda, so they don't talk about, consent, they don't talk about that. Yeah, I believe it's.
All right, thank you for your indulgence. We will continue with the city council meeting. Once we finish with the morning session and we get the planning, before that, we'll take a 30-minute lunch break. And then we'll continue on with the land use planning section. So we're going to continue on. We have item number 39, boards and commissions, discussion for possible action regarding the reappointment of members to the Neighborhood Partners Fund Board from the following list of nominees. Neighborhood representatives, Greg Toussaint, mayor's designee, Shelley Walters, Ward 1, Sharice Holmes, Ward 2, Gail Qualley, Ward 4, Larry Schultz, Ward 6, and staff designees Ann Kilpanen, Ward 1, Jordan Sandecki, Ward 2, Sally Christensen, Ward 4, Chance Bonaventura, Ward 6, and the appointment of nominees Estella Silva, Ward 3, and David Kress, Ward 5, as neighborhood representatives, and Dolina Latuda, Ward 3, and Tanya Jackson, Renter, Ward 5, as staff designees, and that is my motion. Go ahead and vote and post. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right, on to recommending bills. We have bill number 2018-61. Could I have the bill read?
Yes, Councilman. Bill number 2018-61, an ordinance to amend LVMC Title 6 and 19 to adopt provisions establishing a business license category and land use regulations for social use venues marijuana, together with accompanying requirements and limitations, and to provide for other related matters.
All right, thank you. I know that we have a public hearing at the recommending committee meeting, but this is bill that people are very interested in, so you want to come up here and just give a quick presentation on the bill, and then I'll go ahead and allow public comment on the bill, and then we'll have a discussion, and we'll see where this goes.
For the record, Mary McElhone, Deputy Planning Director. Councilman Anthony, we've talked about this bill quite a bit, so I'm going to do a rundown of what this bill does from the beginning. And then more recently, we have a new draft from April 8th, and I'll go through what those changes entailed. So this is bill number 2018-61. And this actually creates a brand-new portion ordinance. It's Title 6.96. Also changes Title 19 to allow special use permits for social use venues.
Excuse me for 1 second.
Sir.
Madam Mary, through you, Mr. Chair, I want to have some clarity on something. Yesterday in our briefings, I specifically asked if we were going to have discussion on this, and the answer to me was no. And so I'm trying to understand why we're having discussion on this if we were not going to have discussion on it, because I would have been prepared to have discussion on it if we were going to have discussion on it.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Brian, did you want to weigh in first? Yeah.
I was going to explain why we asked for an abeyance.
Assistant City Attorney Brian Scott, for the record, Councilman. That's what we believed as well. So it's up to the council to make a determination whether you'd like to obey this item, hear this item today. The bill will ultimately die on May 1st, so it's really up to the council's discretion to determine whether you want to hear it today, or obey it today, or just allow public comment and then ask questions. So it's really up to you what you'd like to do today.
But if we are having discussion, is this a discussion to obey it, or is this a discussion about the item? It sounds like it's a discussion on the item. It's not a discussion to obey it.
Yeah, currently it's up to your discretion. If you'd like to hear it today, we're prepared to address it with you today. If you'd like to obey it, we're also prepared to do that as well.
Well, I can just speak for myself that, once again, since I was told yesterday that we would not be having discussion on this today, I didn't bring anything prepared to discuss it today. I have things that I want to discuss, and that's why I specifically asked if it was going to be discussed today. Right. And so since I was told I was not going to be discussed, I'm not prepared to discuss it. So whether I'm going to abstain from voting on it outside of obeying it or not, I just can't be a part of the discussion because I'm not prepared for it.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Councilman Coffin?
Your Honor, thank you. Probably my council colleague certainly is puzzled about that. And of course, I told in briefing yesterday that it was my intention to obey the bill because we were working on it. Naturally, it can only be obeyed till May 1, or it dies, and so we've done a lot of work on it.
Yes.
But we need 4 votes because this is a unanimous requirement today, because this is a shorthanded council. So that was how you were led to believe that we would not be voting on it today. I think that's what happened.
Yes.
Well,
So, you know.
well, then if we're going to obey it, do we have to go through the process of hearing the whole thing, or can someone make a motion to
No.
obey it?
It's up to the Mayor Pro Tem. It's up to him if he wants to hear the item and hear comment from the public, or someone can make a vote right now to obey it, and the Mayor Pro Tem can entertain that motion.
Okay. If it was my judges, I would just say let's obey it and discuss it at a later date. If we're going to obey it, I think that's seems like that is the process, instead of going through 30 minutes, 45, 47, 48, 50, 58, 60, 62 minutes on this again.
Well, if I could just weigh in, I mean, what we talk about in briefing is what we talk about in briefing. What happens at a city council meeting, we don't know what's going to happen at a city council meeting, so I don't know what the motion is going to be, whether to obey it, approve it, not approve it. We don't have a motion right now, so I was not ready to, I know the motion was going to be to obey this item, but I was not ready to vote on whether to obey it or not. At the beginning, I wanted to hear it, so
Okay.
I was going to allow public comment because I mean, people are interested in this bill and they want to make their public comment. If you want to, somebody wants to, I mean, if somebody wants to make a motion, I'll wait and hear the motion. and go back
Mr.
to
Chair,
action.
I just for clarity, with all due respect, I will, whatever you want to do, I am in full support of how you like to move forward. I don't want that to be misconstrued in any way, shape, or form. I am here to serve at your leisure. Thank you, sir.
Well, Your Honor, if I may just clarify some of this.
But we do not have a motion right now on
That's
this
right.
particular
Based
bill.
upon the fact that you had indicated earlier during the comment periods that you would not vote for it, we are in an impasse, so to speak. And so before I make any motion, I may not even make a motion, Your Honor, I would like to clarify what happens when you're at impasse. We're short 2 people. We're also not allowed to abstain on an issue like this. So really, Brian, what happens? Jeff?
Councilman Jeff Dorkek, Deputy City Attorney. Because we are at 4, as you mentioned, we need a unanimous vote for action to happen. However, if we end up with 3-1 votes and the bill neither fails nor passes, because it's been published, because it's effectively out to the community and doesn't die until after the May 1st meeting, as a matter of law, we are going to say it survives and it will appear again on the May 1st agenda if no action via 4-0 vote happens today.
Okay. Do you want me to make a
Okay, well,
motion?
hold on, let me, I just want to clarify. So, if there was a motion to obey this and it failed 3-1, then what happens?
Then we would take additional motions, but if nothing gets a 4-0 vote, our office is going to say that this item needs to come back on the agenda May 1st, because no action will ultimately have happened on it, and it still is a live bill.
Okay, and it would come back May 1st?
Correct.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, well, okay, then I guess we'll go ahead and make your motion, and it sounds like either way, this may just be obeyed till May 1st, right? So, does that sound?
Yeah, Councilman, Mayor Pro Tem, this is kind of one of those cases of first impression, since it's rare that we have so few council members voting, and it's so rare that, we have a 4-vote requirement, so.
Well, just to put it on the record, I have consistently voted against the bill, I've consistently voted against obeying it. I want it to die, I've already put on the record why. But if it's a 3-1, to obey it, it goes to May 1st anyway.
Correct.
Right? Okay. So to make it, go ahead and make your, That's what I'm hearing.
I'm not clear. So, no action goes to May 1st. If we vote 3-1, it dies.
No. Go ahead, John.
To any action of the city council for anything requires 4 votes. So if you want to kill it, it takes 4 votes. If you want it to pass today, it takes 4 votes. If we keep getting 3-1 votes, we just have no action on it, and therefore it'll, as a matter of law, continue till May 1.
Okay. All right, so that helps me a lot. So why don't you just make your motion to
Thank you.
obey it, and then I'll just approve that, and we'll come back May 1st.
Thank
All
you.
right, and then we can do all the public comment later on.
Right, thank
So
you,
I
Your Honor.
appreciate you clarifying that.
Yeah, thank you very much. And legal, thank you very much, city attorneys. And yeah, I'm going to move to obey it, and I know to May 1, and I expect that maybe have a 3-1 vote. I don't know. Doesn't matter because it's going to go to May 1 anyway. That's
Okay,
my motion.
go ahead and
And
vote.
just for the record, Mayor Pro Tem, that will be the final meeting for this to be considered.
Hooray.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead and vote and post. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate you all coming down. We will hear this on May 1st. Bill number 2019-5, go ahead and read the bill.
Bill number 2019-5, an ordinance to amend LVMC Section 2.60.70 to adopt the most recent versions of the Nevada Local Government Records Management Program Manual and related local government records retention schedules, and to provide for other related matters.
Do I have a motion?
Your Honor, I move to approve.
Thank you, Councilman Coughlin. Motion to approve. Motion carries unanimously. Let's see, bills eligible for adoption at a later meeting. Items number 42 and 43, bills number 2019-7, 2019, and 2019-12 will be heard at a later meeting. We'll move on to new bills. New bills, agenda item 44, items number 44 and 45, bills 2019-13 and 2019-14 will be heard at the recommending committee on Monday, April 29th, 2019. Can you read the bills?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem. Bill number 2019-13, an ordinance concerning the City of Las Vegas, Nevada Special Improvement District number 1485, Alta Drive Landscape Maintenance FY 2020, providing for the payment of the costs and expenses of maintaining street beautification improvements, assessing the cost of maintenance against the accessible lots, tracts, and parcels of land benefited by said maintenance, ratifying, approving, and confirming all action previously taken, prescribing details in connection therewith. Bill number 2019-14, an ordinance concerning the City of Las Vegas, Nevada Special Improvement District number 1516, Fremont Street Maintenance District, FY 2020, Las Vegas Boulevard to 8th Street, providing for the payment of the costs and expenses of a neighborhood improvement project, assessing the cost of the project against the accessible lots, tracts, and parcels of land benefited by said improvements, ratifying, approving, and confirming all action previously taken, prescribing details in connection therewith.
All right, thank you. That's the end of the morning session. We're going to take a lunch break. We will start exactly at 12 noon with the afternoon session. Thank you. All right, one final item, new bills 2019, 13, and 14 are assigned to the April 29th recommending committee members, myself, Councilman Coughlin, Councilman Fiore. Any so designated are unable to attend. The clerk's office will coordinate finding substitutes as necessary at the mayor's discretion. Thank you. We'll be back at 12 o'clock. Appreciate it.
And the record will show.
It won't charge? It's not working.
What?
Yeah. Hold on, we'll get another one.
You ready? All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We will continue our city council meeting with the afternoon session, item number 46, for possible action. Any items from the 11 a.m. session that the council staff or the applicant wish to be stricken, tabled, withdrawn, or held in abeyance to a future meeting may be brought forward and acted upon. At this time, Councilman Coffin.
Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. The applicants for items number 51 through 54, and they relate to Family Promise of Las Vegas, have asked to be obeyed until May 15th.
Thank you, sir. That's your motion.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Go ahead and vote and post. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 47. This is a public hearing and discussion for possible action to consider a request for a waiver or reduction of fees totaling $5,606 in out-of-pocket costs and $39,000 in civil penalties for a total of $44,606 recorded against the property located at 4513 Sunrise Avenue. Property owner is Bank Deutsch. This is in Ward 3, Councilman Coffin. This is Una. Hi.
Good morning, Chairman, and good afternoon, actually, Chairman and Council. The item before you today is a public
Can't hear you,
hearing.
Vicki, if you could.
The item before you today is a public request of waiver of fees and civil penalties at the request of the current property owner, Deutsche National Bank Trust, for the property at 4513 Sunrise Avenue, located in Ward 3, in the area of Lamb and Stewart. Code enforcement has completed 2 abatement actions in the years of 2017 and 2018 on this property. Code enforcement notified Mr. Morales, who was the owner at the time of the abatements, but also notified Trustee Corps and National Default Corps that of the issues and the violations that needed to be abated. The default against the property had been recorded, advising that payment had not been received since February 2014. The total outstanding hard costs is $5,606, and outstanding daily civil penalties is $39,000. Total outstanding is $44,606. This property has not been rehabbed at this time, and the current value on Zillow.com is $198,000. Staff requests that you deny this request of waiver.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Go ahead and state your name.
Jeffrey Whitehead, with the law firm Whitehead and Burnett, for the requester petitioner, Deutsche Bank Trust. And the request is pursuant...
Go ahead and state your name again.
My name?
Yeah.
Jeff Whitehead.
Thank you, Jeff.
I know several of you. And the request by Deutsche Bank is to request for a reduction down to the hard costs, to the $5,600 and some odd dollars. It is, the property is under contract for sale, and the sale is pending the results of this request, so that a duly qualified purchaser can take the control of the property and rehab it. Based on the notes within the Deutsche Bank file, the previous owner had control and occupancy up through sometime in 2017, and it wasn't until late 2017 that Deutsche Bank had access to the property. It's my understanding that some of the problems have been abated, but that the new purchaser is waiting to close on the property, and it's been under contract since January of this year. So there is some urgency in resolving the issue so that the new purchaser can take possession and make the property better. And so the desire is to move forward to make it a responsible property in the neighborhood, and to enable to pay the hard costs so nobody's out anything, but to abate the additional fines and interests.
All right, thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone from the public want to be heard on this item? Okay, I'll close the public hearing. Anyone else up here on the city council? Councilman Coffin.
Thank you, Your Honor. On item 47, I've been looking at this quite a bit, Jeff. Thank you for appearing today on that. How long has Deutsche Bank been in control of the property, so to speak? I know what you said about foreclosure officially going.
My understanding, based on the notes that have been handled to me, is probably about 15, 16 months.
Well, who had the paper, if I may continue, who had the paper before you officially foreclosed? Who was the lending institution? Was it Deutsche Bank?
I'm looking, the papers I have are the confirmation of sale before me. I don't have the down payment and proof that it's under. I have a statement from 122 that are citing the fees. I have a date that talks about different violations. Let me see if I've got anything about
Jeff,
when access was granted. But I do note in the file, the internal notes, the only notes I have are that they were denied access in sometime of late 2017.
maybe, thank you, Jeff. Maybe Vicki could clarify that. It appears from our records that there was some sort of a notice of foreclosure and a failure to pay way back, going back to 14, I think, or something like that. And so that's why I'm asking if Deutsche Bank had been on the loan all this time and not until you officially filed for foreclosure.
Well, yes, and
Maybe you don't
the process in these cases has been, banks are reluctant to kick them out and evict and foreclose if the occupants are saying, just give me time, just give me time, even though that they have the right to foreclose in 111 days. I haven't met a bank that actually does that. In this case, they apparently waited 3 years to actually evict and take possession of the property.
Thank you very much. And Jeff, that's why I'm waiting for Vicki to give me that date. But in the meantime, it's all right, because the idea is here that we have seen banks do this a lot. Deutsche Bank wouldn't be the only one. It's just one of many, many that don't fix properties. They don't keep them up, even though they're going to take it back and the owner's gone, and we spend a lot of money to fix it. But the banks wait until the very last minute to do the official foreclosure, which by then you can request that reduction. And so I'm sympathetic to you because of the fact you've got a contract for sale there, and so somebody will be moving in there. And I'm perfectly willing to waive some of these fees, but not to the extent that we frequently do, simply because of this lack of the bank to move earlier. And it's a strategic, industry-wide kind of approach. There's one hand, it looks like the banks are being generous, letting people stay. But in the meantime, that person doesn't keep up the property, and we have to do it for them, but we're actually doing it for the bank. So, Vicki, do you have any further clarification on who controlled it?
I don't have the exact date of when the breach was filed for the foreclosure on the property. What I can tell you is that back in 2017, my officers spoke with Safeguard and some of the other property management companies from Trustee Corp, and we notified them, and they were very aware that the property was open and accessible. At no time after that did they take care of the property. They did not put it on a monthly check like they're supposed to make sure that it stays secure and safe, which resulted in the second abatement.
All right, the notes I have, thank you very much, Vicki. Jeff, the notes I have show that the property's been in foreclosure since February 1, 2014. So it's coasted along a long time, and thank you for stopping that. But I'm going to move for some reduction for you. We cannot reduce hard costs of $5,606. I hope that's up to date as of today, but let's say that it is. I cannot waive that. Should it change, we still would have to have the money. And instead of $39,000 in civil penalties, I will move to reduce that by 50%.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
50%.
I'm going to move to reduce the $39,000 administrative costs by 50%.
Okay.
That would be $19,500.
Mr. Councilman Coffey, you mind if I ask a question?
Of course.
Thank you, through you.
You want
Mr.
to ask
Chair.
it on the
ahead,
motion? Let
Councilman
me
Greer.
finish the motion.
Okay, well,
Why don't I finish the motion?
All right, so that, the new total would be $25,106. That would be with the hard cost and the reduced civil penalties.
All right, and then on that, before we're almost finished with the motion, the additional action would be a certain length of time for the bank to pay this, or some party pay for it. So that would be 60 days, 90 days, what do you think, Vicki?
That would be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. 'Cause
60
if
or
Deutsche
90,
Bank
which are we-
hasn't given all their
Whatever, let's go with 90. If they do it
Okay.
sooner, that's great.
90 days, payment has to be in 90 days. If Deutsche Bank has time with all the records they're giving to Congress, I hope they can do that. So, questions?
Did you want to respond to that?
That, I'm authorized to accept that, yes.
Okay. Councilman Creer.
thank you. So I'm just trying to get an understanding. So this home was owned by a homeowner and it got foreclosed on, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then when during the ownership that the owner had, these fines were accumulated via the homeowner or via the bank?
They were accumulated under the name of the homeowner, but in many instances, and not just this situation, the homeowners, as soon as they receive the letter that they're in foreclosure, they just leave. And so the house sits there vacant. Even though the bank may not have started formal foreclosure action, and it may take them 2 or 3 years to do that, it's not unheard of for the property owner just to leave.
So some of these fees are no fault of the bank, per se?
So we notify the banks and the servicing companies when we're doing our process, because we want them to be aware of what's going on with the property, because they do have a right to come onto the property and take care of and secure them. Under their contract with the mortgage, they have the right to go on site and take care of these issues.
And you're saying that there is a sale agreement in place for this home?
I can't hear you.
There is a sale agreement in place for this home?
There's an agreement for sale, and there's a third-party processor that is now managing and watches over the home. But it's, as soon as we get this resolved, the new purchaser will be in control and responsible for everything relative to the home.
Is someone going to buy this home?
Yes.
You're confusing me. You're
Yes.
saying that you have it up for sale now. You have a buyer?
We have a buyer.
And the buyer, because you said third party, all other things. I'm asking you simple questions. You guys, the bank, Deutsche Bank owns a home. You have a buyer for it.
Yes.
You have an agreement for someone to buy.
Yes.
Okay. That is going to close.
Yes.
Okay. So then that homeowner, is it a homeowner? Is it a bank? What do they have plans to do with this home? Is this home just going to sit like this for another 5 years? Or are they looking to do something with it that we have some assurances that if we do abate this, that it's not going to look like this for the next 5 years? Or are you in a position to say that on behalf of the new owner?
I'm not here representing the new owner. I can tell you that they've made an earnest money deposit, that it's a investment family. It appears to be a local family that wants to rehab the property and rent it out, is what my understanding is. But again, I'm not speaking for the new purchaser.
Right.
I only know that the bank is trying to, I've done a number of these for Deutsche Bank, and they try to sell them to people that are going to make good on the homes, but they don't have any guarantees other than the
Right.
fact that somebody's purchasing it at a price that they're willing to sell it.
Yeah, I mean, the challenge is that if we do abate these, and the only thing that we're doing is abating them so that the bank can basically reap additional costs, additional profits,
Well,
right? And so then we do that under the intention that someone's going to come in here, fix this up, and not make it a blight in the community, and it
Correct.
continues to be a blight for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, then all we did was just give you guys a break on how much money you make. Is that a valid assessment?
I understand the councilman's concern. I don't think that would be accurate about what's going on. What's going
Okay.
on is they have property on the books. They're willing to sell it to people who want these properties. Most people don't buy a property then to have it become a blight. They would like to make...
Well, I would very, very much beg to differ. You should come over to my ward and see all the homes that people purchase that are blighted, and that
Well,
continue to be blighted, and the people have no intention of doing anything with them. Are the owners local, the people that are buying it?
Yes.
Okay. They're local, they aren't...
Yes.
They have local buying up different homes, they actually live here?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion. Go ahead and, you good? You guys good with the motion?
We should be ready.
All right, let's go ahead and vote. And post. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Cedric.
Item number 48, public hearing and discussion for possible action to consider a request for a waiver or reduction of fees totaling $1,272.25 in out-of-pocket costs and $19,500 in civil penalties for a total of $20,772.25 recorded against the property located at 5009 Tropical Glen Court. Owner is Michael Tollefson in Ward 6. Councilwoman Fiore.
Good afternoon, Chairman and City Council. The item before you today is a public hearing for a request of waiver of fees and civil penalties at the request of the current property owner, Michael Tollefson, for the property at 5009 Tropical Glen Court, located in Ward 6 in the area of Ann and Decatur. Code enforcement has completed one abatement action since last April 2018. Mr. Tollefson purchased the property at foreclosure trustee sale on December 27, 2018 for $213,000. The total outstanding for hard costs is $1,272.25 and outstanding daily civil penalties of $19,500 for a total of outstanding of $20,772.25. The property has been rehabbed at this time. The current value on Zillow.com is $308,000, and staff is going to request that you deny this request of waiver.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thanks for coming down. Go ahead and state your name and your case.
My name is Michael Tollefson, and I'm here to request that civil penalties and fines be abated. I bought this property back in December, and when I bought this property, I had all the information from the title company given to me, and as I read the lien, the bottom of the lien stated that the city council designee ordered the above civil penalties in the amount of $19,500 be assessed against the property by recording a lien of assessment on or after December 31st, 2018. When I read that, I went down to the to code enforcement the very next day, which was December 13th, and I talked to the lady there, and she said that once it's approved by city council, it's approved. There's nothing I can do about it. I said, is there an appeal process? She said, yes. I filled out that paperwork, sent it in on December 13th. They told me it'd be 60 to 90 days before I can get an appeal. So during that time, I went down, I had to pull permits because it was considered damaged over a certain amount. So I went down there to pull permits on January 3rd. I went back up to code enforcement, since it's right upstairs, and asked if I had a date or if they had, just to check to make sure they got the facts. They said they did. They said they had no date that I'd be contacted. So I gave it about 30 days, didn't hear anything, did not receive anything in the mail. So I started calling probably once or twice a week, leaving messages. Never received a phone call back. The day of the first appeal hearing, I called twice that morning. Nobody answered, never got a return call. On March 4th, I finally got a call back. I called and he finally answered the phone, and I spoke with Vicky, and she said that if I left a message, they would have called me. So I supplied all my phone records to show that nobody ever called me back, and that a notice was sent to my house. I asked her if it was sent certified mail. She said no. I responded by saying, I never received anything. Could I get another hearing? And that's why I'm here today.
So you purchased the house?
I did.
And you paid the lien on it?
I did not pay the lien because she told me I was going to pay the $1,200, the hard cost, because of how I read this lien stating that the lien assessment was supposed to be on or after December 31st.
Okay, so you purchased the house with the lien on it?
With the lien on it stating that on the, yes.
Okay, and you're, okay, very good. Any questions or
Chairman, if I-
comments? Oh, yes.
If I could explain the situation with the lien. So when these liens are approved by the designee after the abatements have been completed, we have to wait 1 year from the notice and order before we can record these civil penalties. So that would have been on December 31st, as that's when the notice and order was issued the previous year. We've held off recording it. It's still in effect, but we've held off due to the fact that he did file a waiver request, and there's no reason for the city to pay an extra $80 to record it and then unrecord it, depending on what happens before this council. There were a couple issues with the new agenda process. Unfortunately, Mr. Tollefson did not get notified of the hearing properly, which is the reason why we're bringing it back, because he was not notified. So I don't know if you have any additional questions or.
Okay, Councilwoman Fiore.
Thank you. So with this, because when he did purchase it on December 13th, the 1272.25 was crystal clear, but the other 19,000 wasn't. And then because of the city's failure to notify him on the first hearing, I am going to move to remove the 19,500 in civil penalties. And Mr. Michael, can you pay the 1272.25 today?
Yes.
I would like to move for you to pay that today.
Okay.
And I will move to get rid of the 19,500 in civil penalties.
All right, you got a motion? Go ahead and vote. And post.
Write a check.
Motion carries. There you go.
Where do I pay, outside?
Vicky will tell you right over here where to pay. Thank you very much. All right, we're on to one motion, one vote. Items number 49 and 50 may be considered in one motion, one vote. They are considered routine, non-public, and public hearing items with no condition changes. Any person representing an application or a member of the public or a member of the council not in agreement with the conditions and all standard conditions for the application recommended by staff should request to have that item removed from this portion of the agenda. Item number 49, GPA 75732, applicant Touchstone Living, owner Touchstone Alexander, on a request for a general plan amendment to amend the trails element of the 2020 master plan and all related maps to amend the multi-use equestrian trail alignment located on 2.81 acres along the east side of Halapai Way, extending approximately 960 feet south of Alexander Road, Ward 4, Councilman Anthony. And item number 50, VAC 75059, applicant owner Upgrowth NV Partners, on a request for a petition to vacate a 30-foot portion of Egan Crest Drive, a 30-foot portion of Stevens Avenue, and various right-of-way grants and patent easements on property generally located on the southwest and northeast sides of the Clark County 215, generally bounded by Ann Road, Halapai Way, Washburn, and Alpine Ridge Way. Councilwoman Fiore, Ward 6. The Planning Commission staff recommend approval of both items. These are public hearings. I would declare these open. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on 49 or 50? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearings, and I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve items 49 and 50. Go ahead and vote.
You're going to make the motion? Or you did?
Yep, yeah, I just made it.
Hey,
All right, go ahead and vote.
One at a time.
And post, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. We now go on to 55, that's right. All right, item number 55, SUP 75306. This is a public hearing. Applicant Bon Thai Massage Establishment, owner Heard Properties for possible action on an appeal of the denial by the Planning Commission on a request for a special use permit for a proposed 2,400 square foot massage establishment use with a waiver to allow a 178-foot separation from a residential zone property where 400 feet is required at 1600 South Las Vegas Boulevard, Suite 120. General commercial, this is in Ward 3, Councilman Coffin. This is a public hearing. I'll declare it open. Mr. Summerfield, you want to start the conversation here?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So the subject site has been previously occupied by at least 2 beauty salons in the past 4 years. The most recent salon had its business license revoked by the City Council in 2017 for illegally offering massage establishment services, as well as conducting criminal activity on the site. Based on the incompatibility of the use with the surrounding land uses within this commercial center and the surrounding area, staff is recommending denial of the special use permit. Thank you.
Is the applicant here? A representative? This is a public hearing. Anyone from the public want to speak on this item?
He was here earlier, but he's gone.
I'll close the public hearing. Anyone from the council want to say something?
Your Honor?
Councilman Coffin?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to move to deny following Planning Commission and staff recommendation.
Very good. We have a motion. Please vote. And post. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 56, SUP 75311. This is a public hearing. Applicant Can Shang Inn, owner downtown Carson, for possible action on a request for a special use permit for a proposed 767 square foot massage establishment use with waivers to allow a 360-foot distance separation from residential zone property where 400 feet is required, and a 368-foot distance separation from a similar use where 1,000 feet is required at 124 South 6th Street, number 70. This is general commercial. This is in Ward 3. Councilman Coffin. Mr. Summerfield.
Mr. Chairman, due to the proposed distance separation waivers from another massage establishment as well as from a protected residential use, the proposed use cannot be conducted in a compatible and harmonious manner with those surrounding land uses, and therefore staff has recommended denial of the special use permit.
All right, thank you. Okay, looks like we have some folks here, so go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell us who you are.
Good afternoon, Ms. Councilwoman and Councilman. My name is Kang Chen-Ying. I'm the owner of the massage studio.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Matthew Gromlich. I'm also owner and manager of the studio.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Missy Brayman, and I am here representing landlord for Downtown Project.
Okay, go ahead and state your case on why we should approve these waivers.
Thank you very much. So we are Nyko Massage Studio, and it's owned and managed by me and my husband, Matt Gromlich. And our goal here is to provide one of the best massage experience here and to provide, to support our local community here in Las Vegas. And we are trying to establish a working environment that we support our team members and our local working people here in downtown area, and also bring up our local economy. So to support that, our targeted customers here are actually our local resident of the downtown area, which are from like Ogden or in the Fremont 9 residential buildings. Also people who work in the downtown area, like the local casino workers, and they are standing on their feet all day long, so they could definitely use a massage after work. Here are some testimonies from our locals. Actually, they are our friends. So we have friends living in the Fremont 9, and they are just talking about they really want to have a massage after a day of work. And also I have some attorney friends who works in the downtown area, and he also told me about this services that he's looking for. Also, I'm playing in LGBT softball league here in the city, and all of my teammates, they really want to have a good, decent massage establishment where they can go after a hard day playing the balls. So this is where I kind of thought about it, and I was like, yeah, let me do something for you guys. So the services we're providing at the Neko Massage Studio is going to be customized massage therapy standard, which will be 60 minutes. And we will ask our customers about what kind of areas whatsoever you want, and then we'll customize it for you instead of we just tell you this is Swedish massage or whatsoever, Thai massage, and you're getting actually very customized service. Also, we're providing mechanic chair massage where you sit in the chair, have your back massage, and you get the reflexology with our masseuse. It's going to be very relaxing and quick service, targeting the local workers that have a quick lunch break or just a quick dinner break in between jobs, in between works. So that's what we're providing. And also, on top of that, we're definitely going to have some retail for maybe essential oil or face mask, this kind of items for people to use. So for the design of the studio, here is a picture. So the studio itself, it's located in next to the Carson's Kitchen, if you know, in that same building. And the studio itself is 756 square foot, and it's going to be designed very modern, and all the separation walls are only going to be 5'9" tall. So the whole space is going to be very open floor plan. And as you can see in the picture, up top, those are all open space, and it's going to be a very open feeling of the studio. Here's some more pictures. From the outside, you can look, there are big windows, you can look right through into the studio, and also from inside, you can look, the space is very open, and where I'm pointing at, those are where the chairs will be at, and the reception desk will be just on the left. So we are, I'm very lucky that I got this place leased and talked with the downtown project, and they are very supportive through the process. And as I'm showing, the studio is facing the 6th Street and right next to the Carson's Kitchen and Donut Bar. So we're in a really, really cool business center, and I really love that location. And as soon as I saw the place, I think it's going to be perfect for my massage establishment. That's why we kind of talked about it, and we signed the lease, and here we are. To kind of address the concern that the city planning staff brought up, so from the city planning staff recommendation that we are kind of close to a residential building, which is, so the green is where our building is at. The residential zoned area is here to the bottom right, and from what we measured on the Google map, from the front of our store to the residential area, it's actually over 400 feet. However, if you're measuring from the corner of the complex, it is just a tiny bit shy of 400 feet. So that's one of the, I think, differences. And so here's the
Cancel that. Okay.
Okay.
I just wanted to say, too, on behalf of the landlord, this was even a different lease that we even did. Before we even signed a lease, we went and actually had many conversations. We had our general counsel involved, along with all of our real estate board, and learned that these fine gentlemen, I mean, they have PhDs, they have their MBAs. They really do want to do something great for our community. Not only that, we just think this spot is a perfect place for what they need and what we need in our community downtown.
Thank you. Go, are you finished, sir?
If you'd like to keep
So we just have some financial analysis and also some key points if Matt wants to.
Sure. So just to talk about our team a little bit. So Colin, he has his MS in Hotel Administration and his MBA. I'm currently working on my PhD in math education at both at UNLV. And so I've done a lot of training, corporate training, and teaching. We also have 2 licensed massage therapists that are willing to join the staff once the building is established. So certified Nevada board licensed massage therapists on staff there. With our financial analysis, I won't bore you too much, but if you look, we have some projections, and so by month 6, we're looking at projected profit, including paying our managers, as well as our staff. And again, the goal of this is just to provide an opportunity for local residents to have a massage establishment in their neighborhood and to provide that benefit to the downtown area. Addressing some of the other concerns, we do realize that there is a spa at the El Cortez Hotel and Casino, so that's what they were referring to earlier. And the difference that we would like to make is that the clientele is completely different. So our massage studio will be targeting Las Vegas locals, residents, and workers, whereas a lot of times the spas at these hotel casinos are targeting more of their guests, which tend to be out-of-town visitors. And then typically there is some type of social stigma, as he alluded to earlier with the last one. So we do have an open floor plan design, and like I said before, all of our massage therapists are going to be Nevada board certified LMTs.
All right, good presentation, thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone from the public want to speak on this item? All right, anyone from the council up here want to say anything besides Councilman Coffin? Okay, Councilman Coffin.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I want to say thank you for that very good explanation. Is it Mr. Yin?
Yes.
That is your family name?
Yes.
Good. Mr. Yin and Matthew and Missy, well, this could be a model for future, I'm going to say approvals because I'm going to move, but the reason is this. We have had our hands full and we're sick and tired of prostitution in the massage, reflexology, nail salons, you name it. It all boils down to that. And the idea of an open floor plan makes a lot of sense. It does. I mean, people can wear towels in these sorts of environments or clothing of some kind.
Yes.
This could be good. And I really feel like with Downtown Project being the landlord is critical in this. We've had other landlords who claim not to know what's going on. And they do. They know. And they also know they're getting more money for a reason from that particular tenant. That is not to say that was not the case in number 55 before you. That was different. But this one, I am willing to move for approval, and I do think that we'd also like to have, you have a portable massage chair where you can do upper back, because it should be up here for a charge. We'd like
We
to
can
very much
absolutely
see it.
look into that for you,
We've got
sir.
a payment schedule because I want to use you.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Go ahead and vote. And post. All right.
Thanks
You guys
for
did a good
me.
job presenting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Very
much.
good job, thank you. Yep,
Go Knights, go.
thanks.
Thank you.
All right, item number 57, ARC 75710, public hearing, applicant owner, ProView Series 33 for possible action on an appeal of the approval by the Downtown Design Review Committee on a request for signage design review for a proposed modification to an existing roof sign with the waiver of the scenic byway illumination requirements at 2211 South Las Vegas Boulevard. And Ward 3, Councilman Coffin, Mr. Summerfield.
Mr. Chair, the Downtown Design Review Committee voted to approve ARC 75710, subject to conditions on March 19th, 2019. Those conditions included an added condition number 1, which states, the applicant shall add a border of neon tube lighting to the proposed modifications to the existing roof sign. The DDRC committee placed the condition in order to help preserve the envisioned character of the scenic byway overlay district. The applicant's representative agreed to the condition at the hearing. However, following the hearing, the applicant owner appealed this decision, as they believe that the required addition of border lighting will diminish the desired aesthetic of the sign. Staff supports the recommendations of the DDRC and therefore is recommending denial of this appeal.
Okay. Yes,
Good
sir.
afternoon, Mayor Pro Tem, Councilwoman, and Councilman. My name is Cameron Foulard, representing ProView Series, property located at 2211 South Las Vegas Boulevard. This used to be a dilapidated old motel, closed motel that we purchased, and we are converting them to, it's 122 units, mixed use, with restaurants, cafe, and chapel. We are converting it to the very upscale, modern units And the sign that we picked is something very unique, clean, simple, also has enough LED and also neon on it. Our purpose of the sign was to create a ghost backboard behind the sign, so you can see only the letters at night. By putting the border around it, it changed the look of the sign totally, and it makes it look like any other sign. Also, it's something that would not go with the design that we are spending few $1 million on this project. Therefore, I would greatly appreciate it if you could approve the sign without the border.
Okay, thank you, sir. This is a public hearing. Anyone from the public want to speak on this item? I'll close the public hearing.
I
Any
have the
questions?
picture of the, I'm terribly sorry to interrupt. I have the picture of the sign, how it's going to look at
Okay,
night.
why don't you put it down right there and check the screen there. Turn it around the other way. There you go. Okay. Any questions up here, comments? Councilman Coffin?
Your Honor, I think that Mr. Foulad is correct. There are some times when you've got to not pay attention to some of the smaller details in the appearance, and this is one of those cases. The sign itself is the old sign, and not very old. I know because I've lived right around the corner from this for a long time. So I think it's not a question of preserving what was there, because it wasn't originally there, so to speak. For that reason, the fact that Mr. Foulad has designed and built a lot of stuff in Ward 3 along Fremont and the Boulevard. He's got a track record that we go, and we're very proud of his work. So keep investing with us. I would now move for approval with an amendment, and the amendment would be to approve the design of the sign without the requested neon to be placed on it, and as it is the design as illustrated to the council today.
Okay, we have a motion. Go ahead and vote. And post. Motion carries unanimously. All right, there you go.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you very
welcome.
much.
All right, number 58, set date on any appeals filed or require public hearings. I would instruct the city clerk to set the public hearing dates and appeals from the City Planning Commission meetings and dangerous buildings or nuisance letter abatements.
Will do, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, item 59, citizen participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the city council. No subject may be acted upon by the city council unless that subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, come to the podium, give your name for the record. We'll give you 1 minute to speak. It's your opportunity to address the council. Council is not able to respond or engage in dialogue as there are, as any member of the public wishes to speak to this portion. So, okay, anyone who would like to come up, one at a time, you have 1 minute to speak.
Good afternoon, Council. My name is Michael Troy Moore, 128 Fremont Street, Circle 6, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89101. I'm here to advise the Council that several candidates in the mayoral election have challenged at the state and federal election level the elections of the mayoral office. And I didn't know if you were aware of this or not, but that's why I'm here to tell you that. Amy Luciano, who was a candidate's challenged in state, and I've challenged in state and federal as a mayoral candidate as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's all.
Appreciate it,
Thank
sir.
you.
Yes, sir.
He said he was in his office. He's a lawyer for the massage establishment. The one that was denied.
Why would I recall?
It's up to you.
No, it was going to get denied. Okay, anyone else from the public wishing to speak?
Sir Mayor Pro Tem, I have a question. Okay. Maybe legal got that attention. I just want to clarify again, because sometimes when people say things, I catch things. And what I caught was that address was Circle 6, he said, or something 6, Fremont. That's on the Fremont. So that's not a residence, am I correct?
It's not.
It's not a residence. So
It's not,
it's Circle
Councilwoman.
6, where you pay like $5 to perform stuff. We got people in diapers and stuff there doing stuff.
Correct.
And that's what he's claiming his residence is? I
Correct.
just want to clarify for the record, that is not a residence.
And
Thank you.
that's correct, Councilwoman.
Okay.
Do you want him to be able to speak or no? He's
Anyone else from the public wishing to be heard? All right, I will close the public comment. We'll move on to council member recognition. So, this is the last item. Councilman Creer, we'll start with you. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Recognize whatever you want to recognize.
Thank you. April 20th at Egg Hunt, which is the City of Las Vegas Armed Forces Chamber of Commerce, KCP Power 88 Radio, and other community organizations will host an egg hunt for children between the ages of 5 and 12 years old on Saturday, April 20th at 10 a.m. at the historic West Side School, 330 West Washington Avenue. There will be bounce houses, carnival games, contests, prizes, live music, special guests, workshops, vendors, and refreshments. And this event is part of the We Are One community tour. So for more information, visit www.armedforceschamber.com. And Thursday, April 20th, Ward 5 community conversations continue from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at Tenaya Creek Brewery, 831 West Bonanza Road. Come and join the conversation to discuss matters important to you. For more information, contact my office at 702-229-5443. Monday, April 29th is Riding with the Councilman. Once again, I had the opportunity to ride the bus, Route 106, on April the 15th at 7 a.m. I spoke to passengers to gain an understanding about their transportation needs, and I'll be riding Route 105, Martin Luther King route, on Monday, April 29th from 4 to 6 p.m. If you'd like to ride with me, discuss your needs, meet me at the RTC bus terminal on Bonnieville at 4 p.m. April 26th, Legal Boot Camp. UNLV School of Law will be hosting a legal boot camp on Friday, April 26th from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the William S. Boyd Law School. This is a free event for nonprofits and entrepreneurs. Breakfast and lunch will be served. To register, visit www.eventbrite.com/legal-bootcamp for nonprofits and entrepreneurs. Senior Idol auditions. Auditions will be May the 7th to the 9th at Las Vegas Senior Center. The deadline for applications is on April the 26th. If you're a senior and would like to participate, you can request a packet at ajarvis@lasvegasnevada.gov or call 702-229-6454. And the West Las Vegas Arts Center is registering for Saturday classes and a summer performing and visual arts summer camp, which is absolutely outstanding, I can tell you firsthand. For more information, register at recreation.lasvegasnevada.gov. And I just want to thank everybody once again for all of the support, to my neighbors and members of my community for all that you have done and to continue to support for us as we move forward as your representative for Ward 5. Thank you very much on behalf of myself, my family, and our entire Ward 5 team. Thank you.
Councilwoman Fiore.
Thank you, sir, Mayor Pro Tem. Anyway, so I just want to tell you guys before we get into the events that I am getting with the program on social media, and I now have an Instagram. Who else has an Instagram up there?
I have one.
Up? Cedric Creer has one.
I don't.
And so I have an Instagram, and I would like to invite everyone to follow each other, and my Instagram address is Vote Fiore. That's V as in Victor, O-T-E, F as in flower, because I'm such a flower, I-O-R-E. Vote Fiore is my Instagram, so please join me on Instagram. And now, then also I want to talk about our Easter egg hunt, which was amazing. Christy, you're amazing. Everyone that volunteered, all of our city staff, I have to tell you, stuffed 35,000 eggs. We had all the baseball fields separated into age groups. We had our special needs field. Every child got eggs, big baskets of eggs. No adults were on the field except for our 1- and 2-year-olds. And so I just want to thank the community, Ward 6. It was an amazing Easter egg hunt this past Saturday, and so that was amazing. And now we'll go into our events. We have our movie. And one of the great things about this movie in the park is Christopher Robin on Friday, May 3rd, but we are making sure it is closed caption. So this way, we are opening it up to our deaf and hard of hearing. So our movies in the park, it's very, very important to me to make sure that in Ward 6, we are all inclusive. So I just want to make sure to invite all of our deaf centers and our hard of hearing folks out to watch Christopher Robin with me Friday, May 3rd at 7 p.m. in the Centennial Hills Park. And then we have the color walk, run, and this is a mess, you guys. So wear clothes that you're gonna be okay with getting color powder put all over you. It's the funnest thing ever. And that's gonna be Saturday, April 27th. From 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Floyd Lamb Park. And what we're doing here is we're raising funds to buy a wheelchair swing, like we have a sensory wall in one of our parks. So I'm trying to make sure we get different park items that again, all of the children in Ward 6, whether you're in a wheelchair or whether you're autistic, can have fun in the park. So that's what we're doing the color run for. And then, so exciting about Cinco de Mayo on May 5th. We are gonna have our band back, our #1 band in the United States, which is Mariachi del So Mexico de Jose Hernandez. And so he's coming back to perform with many of our mariachi high school bands on Cinco de Mayo, Sunday, May 5th, from 1 to 6:30. And Councilman Stavros Anthony, myself, and Commissioner Kirkpatrick are doing this event. And it's going to be Sunday, May 5th. We're going to have tacos, Corona, tequila, Dos Equis, everything. So what happens in Ward 6 stays in Ward 6 until the Las Vegas Review-Journal prints about it. And then we have, very important, you guys, missing juvenile here. She's only 16, and her name is Stevie Desanori. And so if you see Stevie, please call Las Vegas Metro Police or our Nevada Child Seekers, and please help us find Stevie. And we also have Alexa. Alexa's only 15, and Alexa Alvarado de Luna, and she's only 15 years old, and she's a female. So please, again, if you see these two beautiful girls, please call Metro or Nevada Child Seekers. Thank you, and have a great week.
Thank you. Councilman Coffin.
Thank you. I'll be real quick, Pro Tem. Congratulations on doing a heck of a job today under pressure, and at the same time with, just 4 of us here. Staff says it's the first time they've ever confronted that situation, so we learned a few rules today. My thoughts today are personal. I'm with the Mayor Goodman, and her health challenges. I had hoped we would see her back before now, but I'm sure she's just taken her time to heal from all of that chemotherapy, and that I'm sure we're going to see her, she says, on May 1. I believe we'll see her sooner than that. But it does remind us all at this time of festivals, there's both cheer and fear, and how do you say it among the holidays, such Easter and Passover, great lessons to be learned about humility and about following the rules laid out by the ancestors we have, and and they're not really religious based. They are very much part of our culture as humans, but it's sure nice to have somebody list them. And that was done, and we're still thankful for that 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years later. So we observe this, we wish the very best for everyone. And so I just close my remarks by saying that's all. Remember Mayor Goodman and our prayers. This is not doom and gloom here. This is an important thing for all of us. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I think this is a historic day. The 4 of us came together to take care of the people's business, and we did it, and we did it professionally, and we look forward to having Mayor Goodman and Mayor Pro Tem Tarkanian back in 2 weeks. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.